Hello and welcome to the Modus Super Series on Friday night when we will get our final three finalists for Saturday night here at the Super Series. We've had some fantastic finals nights recently and Paul Nicholson is alongside me ready for another one, but it's going to be a thrilling Friday before we get to the Super Saturday, isn't it?
Just a bit. This afternoon was thrilling right towards the end. I didn't think it was going to be that way. After round one this afternoon, we thought that maybe Johnny Haynes was going to get through comfortably with Justin Hood. They had plenty of scope to make mistakes, but ultimately one of them made too many mistakes. And Justin Hood, in the end, in his final match, only just made it through.
Yeah, he did, and it was lucky day, wasn't it? Darius Labanauskas. Well, it was a bit more than luck because there was some crucial moments. It all really came down to that win against Johnny Haynes earlier in the day.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we knew the most significant moment was happening at this point, but in retrospect, when we look back on it now, we know just how big this shot was. Look at what Darius is doing, and look at where Johnny Haynes was. This whole group may have just twisted on one throw of a dart.
Yeah, with the cardboard box finish as well. Brilliant stuff. That was coined by Paul Nicholson for the 90 this afternoon. It does put Labanauskas through, and we can show you all the players that are already through and the ones trying to get there. So Dan Asprey earlier this week, the ADC qualifier winning Group A. Justin Hood and Darius Labanauskas, as we've just discussed, getting through from Group C. 3 players from 5 in Group B, Paul. We thought it was going to be a really close group, and every player has got points going into tonight.
Yeah, that proves what we were saying yesterday about the fact that it's going to be a close group. Even Shane McGuirk, who I was speaking to him earlier tonight, he was saying that everybody threw the kitchen sink at him. It's totally true, by the way. It's not one of those situations where someone is saying, get the violin because I didn't get many points last night. Everybody played well against him. But even he's got a really good chance tonight because he's only 4 points behind the top 2. But he's going to have a good start tonight. And I think maybe one of the things that helps him is that he's got 2 of the last 3 games as well.
Yeah, top 2 are Fallon Sherrock and Richie Howson, who was ultra impressive himself last night, had some fantastic moments, and just had that knack of winning, didn't he? He won games where he had the higher average, where he had the lower average. He just seemed to do enough in the games that he won. Yeah,
I've been looking at his numbers, and the numbers don't tell the full story. It's about doing the right things at the right times, but being clinical just when you need to be. I know here against Evetts, he's got that match won with Evetts all the way back plus 150. But the fact remains, he had so many shots last night where his opponent was waiting in the wings and Richie was just getting the job done with efficiency. That was a superb night of darts from Richie. I was very impressed with it.
And for Fallon Sherrock, she's been impressive all week. In fact, that defeat to Howson was her only defeat of last night.
Yeah, she played great at the start of things. Maybe wobbled a little bit in the middle, but the way she performed to finish with a win against Ross Montgomery was testament to just how much of an engine she's got at the minute. And I think the Women's Series has definitely helped with that.
Let's have a look at the table then. Paul, last night you said that you felt that Ross Montgomery might be able to sneak from that position. He's only on 2 points. He's outside the provisional places. Looking at the table now and the night ahead, do you stand by that?
I have changed my mind maybe 4 times since last night. It's very much hinging on what kind of performance levels we're going to get from some of these players. If Evetts turns up enough tonight, he should find his way to the right amount of points, but I would not be surprised if we've got people split on leg difference come the end of the night.
Well, Shane McGuirk, bottom of the table, was the favourite before a dart was thrown in this group. Now, he's 8-1. Ross Montgomery's actually gone out to 33-1. Howson, Sherrock and Evetts are the 3 that they fancy going through.
You and I looked at some of the odds a little bit earlier in the day, and we did with Henry Deacon as well. Where was Darius Labanauskas? And he was on top of the table going into the very last match. So, as far as I'm concerned, some of those odds are very reflective of where they are right now, but they could easily change. As far as Ross Montgomery is concerned, he's got a good chance of qualifying tonight, but he's going to have to get the knack of scoring more points in qualifying. The last time he was here on a Friday night, he only just made it to Saturday with somebody else's help. He's got to help himself tonight.
I'm sure it goes without saying, if you are going to have a flutter, it is 18+, begambleaware.org for all the information on responsible and safe gambling, and only bet what you can afford to lose. Right, can Ross Montgomery afford to lose this first match? He's playing Fallon Sherrock. Is a win for her through and him out?
I think a win for Fallon, it is 1 foot in the Saturday night. I think 8 points is almost there tonight. It depends on how good your leg difference is. But But if you look at the fact that Ross has got 2 points coming into tonight and his only win yesterday was 100 average, it tells you just how hard it is to get points. But if he loses against Fallon, he might have to win the rest of them.
Big match from the start. Let's get it on. Right, Ross Montgomery in action. Can he be the boss, or will the Queen reign in this one? I had a little chat with Montgomery ahead of his opening match this evening. Ross, first of all, just give us your reflections on last night, because it seemed like a night of near misses.
Yeah, it was a strange night for me. It was frustrating as well. And when I got back to the hotel, taking out large finishes, scoring well, and then going for single doubles like double 18 and missing it. Not by a lot, but it was quite frustrating, and you lose the match 4-3. But hey, that starts. It's been happening for a long time since I've been playing.
You've been here before. You know that you can get yourself out of the position you're in. What do you need to change tonight to do that?
I don't really think I'm going to change anything. Just going to play the way I can play. But maybe, I mean, my therapist has actually said to me a wee bit more focus and maybe a wee breath before I go for the double. But if it goes, it goes. It doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, there's some class players in there. If they hit the double before me, that's just how it goes. And if I had it before them, then fine.
It is one of those groups, isn't it, where we've got a real bunch of top quality players as well. You knew that you were in for a tough one before you got here, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you look at any of the groups, I mean, you look at the invites from all the other events, you can never really look at a group that's going to be easy. Never. Because everybody's a good player in their own right, and they qualify in their own right, and they deserve to be here. And it's really good to be here because the quality of players is top notch.
And what would it mean to you if you do turn it around tonight? It's Group B, anything can happen, 2 or 3 wins, you could still get through quite comfortably. What would it mean for you to make it through to finals night?
Yeah, it'd be lovely, because then it gives me something to do tomorrow, because my flight's not to Sunday. But yeah, I'll go and give it 110%, do my best. But at the end of the day, if it works, it works. And if the players beat me, then it's fair play. That's how it goes. But I'll be focusing hard to try and get the wins.
Great attitude, good luck.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Yeah, extra bit of motivation there for Ross Montgomery. Doesn't want to be sitting around Portsmouth for no reason on a Saturday. Will he be here with good reason on that stage on Saturday night? Tickets, by the way, are still available. A few to come and potentially watch Fallon Sherrock. Dartshop.tv will give you a QR code during this game as well to book your place. But which 3 will book their places in the finals night session? Can the twice Dutch Open champion, the boss Ross Montgomery, turn his campaign around? Will Fallon Sherrock finish a job that she's been threatening to finish all week? She had an opportunity in Group A to win that group, to have a couple of nights off. She's put herself in an excellent position in Group B. And as we were just saying, Paul Nicholson, a victory here and she would have at least 1 foot in finals night.
Very much so.
First leg, it's Fallon the throw first. Game on.
Mark was in charge again. And now Fallon has the darts to start our last qualifying session going into the Week 10 finals here in Series 7.
100.
This was a really tight encounter in the early hours of Friday.
Well, they could have been on shared points, couldn't they, this duo, as Ross Montgomery hit his match darts.
140.
But he mentioned it, he referenced it in that interview, and we were all over it last night. Hitting big checkouts, but then missing big numbers. That's what Ross really referred to, and it must be agonisingly frustrating when you have a night like that.
Yeah, it's like holding 25-foot putts but missing 2-footers. It infuriates you. Doing the simple things badly
100.
and the hard things well. And he took out 156 yesterday against Ted Evetts and 143 against Fallon.
93.
They are very, very difficult outs. You could barely split these two average-wise last night. Both in the 89s, which is very competitive.
81.
But the weirdest thing is, these two had the bottom 2 averages. Just goes to show what we had from yesterday's group. The quality was so clear.
Strong start from Sherrock, 53 after 12 darts.
$60. Fallon, you require 53.
So 13 and tops for the opening leg on throw. Good guide, could be useful.
That's game
And
short
it
in the
proves to
first
be the
leg.
case.
Fallon Sherrock. Second leg is a roster throw first.
Some of these players get to
Game
know
on.
Portsmouth really well, don't they? They get to know the A3 motorway very well as well. Well, if you are going to be stuck in Portsmouth during the day on a Saturday,
60.
you want to be preparing for a Saturday night of darts. I really like the fact that Ross Montgomery's got a flight on Sunday because it's not a defeatist attitude.
59.
That is actually a very good point. Because you know, and you may have done it yourself, I don't know, but a lot of players go to things like European Tour events, and if they're not the seeded players, the ones that are expected to win the tournament, they'll often book a flight
100.
for the Saturday, maybe the Sunday morning, and aren't backing themselves to win the title. I can understand the way they see it. They think, well, if I win
58.
unexpectedly, I'm going to be happy to spend that extra money. But as you use the word, it's defeatist, isn't it?
It is. When going to events overseas, I've always made sure I'm flying when the event is finished.
98.
You don't go there to lose. You go there to win.
That dart did not fly right for Fallon Sherrock. You could see the reaction.
41.
She's not been able to rectify it. So Montgomery in a very good position, despite only being halfway through this leg after 9 darts. Sherrock's not gone with him at all.
Ross wins this. He goes to 4
83.
points with Evetts. It will depend on how he could potentially win as to whether he makes the top 3 after his first match.
60.
But he does have
Ross, you
2 of
require
the first 3 matches
160.
tonight. He's got to be out of the traps, whereas McGuirk later has got to finish well.
It was a good
100.
first start. It wasn't quite the perfect one that we saw from a couple of occasions last night from Montgomery when he puts one right high in that treble 20 bed. You know he's going to follow it up.
134. Ross, you require 60.
Let's see what he can do with 60. Earlier on today, Andy Hamilton was going small 20 in this spot because he didn't want a flight in the way. That's why Andy did as such.
That's game short in the second.
There's no problem for Ross.
Ross Montgomery.
All square.
Third
Hold the
leg,
throw
it's Fallon to
apiece.
throw first. Game on.
Ross's numbers yesterday, just shy of 90 the average, maybe clouded by the fact that his first performance was over 101
42.
and brought everything else up a bit. But 35% on doubles, that's not too bad at all. Big finishes. Averaged 1 maximum per match, which is very
100.
acceptable. But Fallon has been the maximum hitter of the last few days. 28 of them this week, including 8 last night,
100.
which equates to exactly 2 per match. Does that remind you of somebody from last week? A certain Bo Greaves was doing over 2 per match.
140.
Yeah, she won on Saturday night last week. A fantastic night. Capacity crowd, as we had on Sunday for another more fun event, the Influencers event. And I did promise you that we'd
40.
let you know how to secure your tickets to get here on Saturday. And that is how you do it. Get your smartphone out, scan that QR code. If you're watching on your smartphone, then dartshop.tv
97.
is the website to go to. But that'll take you straight through to the ticket page. And guess what? Tickets, just a couple of quid. They're free, actually. The couple of pounds is a booking fee. And you can come and have the
137.
cheapest
Ross, you
night of
require
sporting
164.
entertainment that you're probably ever going to enjoy in your life.
Now, what does he do here? Interesting. He's going for it. Oh, he's not.
124.
Oh, well, I'll never be a spotter. I was convinced he was going for that, though.
Yeah.
In my defence, the
100.
single 10 is
Ross,
very,
you
very
require 40.
much the same height as the bullseye.
Fooled you.
Fool me once.
Yeah, that's game short in the
He's
third.
not fooling himself twice.
Ross
That's
Montgomery.
2-1 Montgomery. Good response here after losing the
Four
first leg.
is Ross to throw first. Game on.
That's for Fallon's night. 89.04 her average for her 4 games
81.
in Group B so far. Still, her best individual performance came on Monday this week in her 5th game.
99.
Now, 85 and a bit. That might be competitive in a match tonight. It might not. In fact, the lowest average we had of all of the games last night was Richie Howson, 82.21.
98.
For a lowest average in a group, that's not bad at all. And that was a winning average in a game as well.
Yeah, the highest was Ted Evetts' average of more than 111. A player we didn't really touch on too much in our
61.
pre-action chat, but he's going to be in action against Shane McGuirk in the next game. And you mentioned if Montgomery wins this, he's on 4 points. If McGuirk then beats Evetts, then suddenly this group is separated by 2 points. All 5 players.
Can't beat a bit of Friday night carnage. This is better.
This is what she was doing last night.
140.
She knew when to hit big.
Under pressure, she's one of the best players in the world. Her ability to handle pressure is outrageous.
92.
I've seen 18's first on 302 and 262, but in that spot there, that was a little different.
81. Ross, you require 130.
Well, Fallon Sherrock leaving something slightly more favourable than what Ross Montgomery has left, but he is going to get a go at a double of some sort.
He's going to go for the bull this time.
Has to.
97.
That's why he
Fallon,
didn't
you
go for it
require
last time.
120.
How good can this dot be? Just short.
60.
So
Ross,
this
you
could
require
be
33.
a key start for Ross. Big one. Doesn't miss the single this time.
Misses the double.
Yeah, that's game short.
The
in the
roll
fourth
of the
line.
eyes of Fallon
Ross
Sherrock in the
Montgomery.
background suggested she knew what was coming. It's not going to be easy
Fifth
to progress
target's
this
Fallon to
evening.
throw first.
She's going to have to do
Game.
the hard way.
I'm not sure she's ever done anything the easy way.
60.
She has dominated opponents at times.
Bit of
But-
anger there from Fallon as well.
You can tell that she wants it. I don't mind that whatsoever.
I think a theme of this week is that there have been a lot of misses on the little red bit in the middle of the board. I
85.
can't recall one in the last couple of days to win, apart from that Labanauskas one, which was so crucial.
Yeah, I remember Fallon hitting it on Monday. I think it was for an 86.
130.
But there were so many misses at the bullseye after that.
And ironically, quite a few times when the players wanted to hit the 25, they've gone and hit the bull this week.
Correct. That's happened an awful lot.
Yeah, we haven't seen an awful lot of bulls
100.
hit. We did hear plenty when Henry Deacon was on the air this afternoon.
I can never accuse you of
42.
missing a trick on the old wordplay.
I don't follow, Paul.
I did mention 262 in the previous leg.
140.
This is where you may need those 18s. Then again, you might not. Now it must be used.
98.
I think leg difference has got to play a part tonight at some point. Points are going to be so hard to come by, but if you can get yourself into a
140.
spot
Funny
like
you
this,
require
my
164.
word, that was a risky dart.
And he's got away with it, and he's
56.
Got himself an
Ross, you require
opportunity.
36.
double 18 for Ross to boss the opener. And we could be in for a fun night if he does. Can he make the adjustment?
18.
He over adjusts, and he hasn't yet closed the gap.
Funny you require 108.
Can she get past that dart? Not quite.
Was she right to try to?
Well, 18 off leaves 90. You can go bull, you can go tops.
Could even just go treble 20 if you fancied an open
48.
bed. He's on a double.
Russia require 18.
It's an awkward one.
Game
But he
shot
hits it.
and a match. Ross Montgomery.
And that is exactly what Ross Montgomery needed. A strong start to Friday night, and he does close that gap on Fallon Sherrock and indeed on Richie Howson. He moves on to 4 points and into the provisional places to qualify for Saturday, level with Ted Evetts, but 2 ahead of Shane McGuirk. And if McGuirk can beat Evetts in the next game, then there will be just 2 points separating the whole group. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where the second match of Friday's flinging is about to get underway, and it features Shane McGuirk, the favourite to win this group before a dart was thrown, but the player rooted to the foot of the table. Arrow takes on Super Ted, the former World Youth Champion Ted Evetts, who sits right in the middle of the table, or did before Ross Montgomery beat Fallon Sherrock in the first match of the night. McGuirk looking to enjoy the same result. The 28-year-old, if he does, will really get this group congested, because if he wins against Ted Evetts here, then there will just be 2 points separating all 5 players.
Exciting times ahead, so don't go anywhere. Let us know where you're watching from in the YouTube chat, and cheer on your favourites. Plenty of talent on show tonight. 9 matches more,
First
and we'll
leg,
have
it's
our
Shane
Saturday
Phil
lineup.
first. Game on.
First things first for Shane tonight. Play your best, because it seems like everybody plays their best against you. That was the case last night,
85.
especially in this fixture, which saw Ted average 111.33. He was simply ridiculous. And many times, Murph, when people put those averages in, they are 4 out of 4 on the doubles, but not Ted. He was 4 from 6, which tells you that it could have been marginally better.
59.
Shane didn't even get a dart at a double in that match. He'd be looking to change that in this fixture.
60.
Ted Evetts, he's been enigmatic this week. He's had real highs, real lows. Such a dangerous opponent, isn't he? Because you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get from him here. He may still be trying to figure out the intricacies of playing round-robin darts here in Portsmouth. But for me, he is getting better at it. He's looked stronger in Group B than the last time he was here, which was 2.5 months ago.
97.
But we are talking about someone who is the most successful development tour player in the history of that tour. Better than Humphreys, better than Vandenberg, better than Kian van Veen, who won today in event 7. He's got 5 more titles in that tour than Kian van Veen, and he's got 9. So 14 at the top of the all-time list for Ted Evetts.
And eventually did go on to win the World Youth Championship
100.
after
That you require 146.
a few years of trying and having seen a few friends win it before him as well.
And at his last attempt.
Well, he's got an attempt on here of 146 because 2 treble 19s leave double 16 and Ted Evetts takes it out. That is what he can do.
Evetts. Second leg is
4 words going round the mind of Shane McGuirk. Here we go again. Why do they always do this against me? Look at the pain on his face.
Well,
Don't look, Shane. Don't look.
Cooking, isn't he?
39.
4 consecutive trebles with a double in between. Really turning the screw here on Shane, and he needs the same start as
41.
we saw from Ross Montgomery.
It would be fascinating if it happens. Then we'd have 2 players on 6 points and 3 on 4.
Next match, by the way, is Ross the boss again, so before you know it, he could have a share
55.
of the lead. He takes on Richie Howson.
And sometimes those games in hand can be pressure-filled.
43.
Just look at Justin Hood this afternoon. With his game in hand that he needed to win to get through, he was a bag of nerves.
Yeah, having won all of his games yesterday, Justin Hood was in danger today of not making it through to finals night. Shane McGuirk's in that danger because Ted Evetts has turned up. That level he produced
58.
with
That
that
you require
fabulous
127.
111 average yesterday has stayed with him overnight.
Maybe he just likes playing people who have graced the development tour.
He's going for it.
102.
Well called. Has he got something against Shane, the way he's playing against him? He's averaging 110.
140. That you require 25.
Now just looking to clean up the remainder after that unsuccessful prod at the bullseye.
That's game short in a second leg.
But the 25 taken out with no trouble at all.
Third leg, it's Shane to throw first.
This is outrageous. Really, really good stuff. Evetts last night had very good overall numbers. 94-84 for the night. Very much inflated by that 111 average. 34% on the doubles. 4 maximums.
40.
It was a good night's work. But it still had him in the middle of the pack.
96.
Having the best overall average for the night did not get him any bonus points. That's what I'm trying to say. You've got to win the moments in a Group B situation like this. And so far, so good when it comes to that.
So good. From Ted Evetts, a second 180 of the match.
98.
His second game tonight will be against Fallon Sherrock, also her second. A match that was once the most famous game of darts. It's now a daily occurrence, Paul.
It's not a bad daily occurrence.
100. Shane, you require 167.
Shane was the only player last night not to get a ton plus finish.
95.
That's going to remain the case for now. But he will get a look at 72, which would give him his highest finish of the week.
140. Shane, you require 72.
Really interesting question in the chat that I'm going to come to in the next leg. Because this one could be over. Double 12 for McGuirk to get into the match.
That's
And he is
game
into
short
the
of
match.
third leg. Shane McGuirk.
A mean finish from McGuirk. Who halves the
Forward
deficit
leg
in
is
here.
set to throw first. Game on.
Daniel Malone has asked the question. Would you rather play Prime Taylor or Prime MVG if a title was on the line? The hilarious thing about that question is he's addressed it to both of us. I don't know why you're asking me.
140.
I've played them in their prime. And when you're standing behind them when they're playing at their best,
100.
it's a frightening, frightening thing. Because they just hit everything. Michael Van Gerwen still has the World Series average record, and he hit it against me in Perth, 118 plus.
99.
Watching that, I just started to laugh.
I like the way that you described it, watching that, because that's literally what you must have
That's
felt
what
like
I
you
was
were doing.
doing. I barely got a dart at a double in the first 7 legs.
121.
But if I had to choose, I would rather play Phil because I preferred the pace of the game. I always felt like I could get my way into the game and feel comfortable, whereas Michael, I felt like I was more in a tornado.
And that is the voice of the man who, of course, did beat Phil Taylor en route to winning a major title during the Phil Taylor dominant days.
60.
Not many did that, Paul. A lot would beat
Does
Phil
you
and
require
then lose the next round, wouldn't they?
128?
That's true. Happened to me at Bolton, though. Another treble 20 was needed for
96.
Ted, but he has got that little buffer of Shane not being on a finish. It's not as if Shane's played poorly in this game. Again, he's averaging quite well,
140.
but he's not getting
That
much of a look.
requires
He's had
32.
one dart at a double.
Double 16 for a 13. And this Evetts excellence set to continue, but only if he finds double 4.
28.
Because he can hit all the big
Shane, you
scores.
require 80.
But if you don't hit the doubles at the right time, then you might find yourself getting your fingers burnt.
Tops are a level game.
60. That
Again, we see
4.
that blocker dart deny the shot at tops. This is a good angle. At least I thought it was. Double 1.
No score. Shane, you require 20.
Suddenly, he starts missing. And McGuirk
That's game short on the
punishes, and
forward
suddenly
line.
this
Shane
game
McGuirk.
is back on throw, and therefore in McGuirk's grasp,
Fifth
despite
leg,
the
Shane
fact he's
Phil
averaging some
first.
12
Game
points
on.
fewer than Ted Evetts.
We had few exchanges, and Ted knows exactly why he is in a level game instead of being 3-1 up. The outer ring has cost him.
59.
16s, 8s, 4s, 2s. All around the houses with nobody home.
45.
I like that we flashed up at the start of this game that McGuirk is also on the development tour, but he's just a little bit older than Ted Evetts.
120.
Won it a few years ago. He is firmly into trying to develop the next part of his career after winning the Irish Open, of course, last year. He's firmly on people's radar now
100.
and trying to spearhead this next level of Irish darts behind the likes of William O'Connor, Steve Lennon, Keane Barry.
100.
That was a bit of a nonchalant lob, the last one. He really fancied himself to leave himself 1-4-1 after 9.
It was bad enough trying to pick 3 players out of
Shane, you
5
require 141.
at the start of play, Murph. If McGuirk wins this match, it'll be even harder to pick it. The only thing that wouldn't have changed if McGuirk wins this match is Howson's still on top of the table and he hasn't even played yet.
Doesn't like that.
$125. Shane, you require 105.
Pick a single. You know what your double is.
73. Ted, you require 138.
This is a big ask to turn things around. Going to look at 619s.
$98.
Well, we mentioned
Shane, you
the
require
range of
32.
Ted Evetts in previewing this match, and we've seen it in this match.
Yeah, that's
Brilliant
game short in
for a
the fifth
couple of
flag.
legs, and then
Shane
suddenly he
McGuirk.
goes missing, and McGuirk takes advantage and is now one away from the win.
6 flaggers. Ted to throw first. Game on.
Things can change in this format very, very quickly. What Ted could do with now is replicating the first 2 legs of the contest.
Yeah, needs to find it again.
99.
Dan Asprey has been watching on for the last couple of
58.
days, getting himself prepped for Saturday night. Well, it is around about 21 hours away. Justin Hood will be wiping the sweat from his
94.
brow, and Darius Labanauskas will be performing some sort of post-mortem over Group C and thinking, how on earth did I do that? Just goes to show in a group scenario,
100.
and this group could be the same. If you can dip for the line at the right moment, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, if it were to be Ted and Fallon that missed out, it would feel like a really cruel week for the pair of them, wouldn't it? Having
60.
both been in position to win Group A, then both have an opponent hit 103 average against them, and not getting there, and then to fall in this group
60.
as well. That would be hard to take on the respective journeys home.
Ted has not made a Saturday night here in his previous turn, whereas Fallon has got a pretty decent conversion record, as has Shane.
100.
Montgomery's record is perfect. 1 from 1.
Fallon Sherrock, a former finalist, did win a week in the old format of this tournament. Well,
120.
if that had just
Ted, you require 148.
managed to rest itself on the board there, it might have found it touching treble 12.
That's what's called a samurai. This is what's called a 148 checkout.
Yeah, that's game short in the 6 flag. Ted Evetts.
Second supersized finish of the match. He
Seventh
took
and
out a
final
146.
leg.
He's
It's
taken
Shane
out a
to throw
148.
first.
And
Game
Paul,
on.
at the start of this leg, you said he needed to find the first 2 legs. Well, he has.
He's got 50% of it. What else you got, Ted?
96.
What's the next one going to be? 150? Yeah, it's called a samurai, that dart from Shane, because when it lies in between the 2 darts and balances there, it looks like a samurai
100.
sword balancing on the rack. So we call it a samurai.
We saw a really unorthodox occurrence last week, didn't we, with Robin Hood
58.
on Robin Hood.
By the way, can we just clear this up? That was a double Robin Hood, not a triple. Because it's 1 Robin Hood, 2 Robin Hoods. It's not a triple. A triple would be 4
100.
darts.
I agree.
I think Shane did a really good thing there, you know. He realised that his stem was loose, and the last thing you want to do is throw when that stem is loose. It could actually come out
96.
in mid-flight. The person who's going to get the biggest fright if that happens is the referee.
Just referenced, actually, the old days in Southampton when they played in a different setting. As Ted Evetts continues to turn it on. I remember a game where a player actually had a flight and stem on the floor, and the opponent noticed, tapped them on the shoulder and handed it to them before they did do some damage by throwing it.
59. Touch you require 121.
This has been some sort of response. 9 darts thrown, 121. Is he going to finish with 3 ton-plus checkouts in this match? The answer is no. He'll have to settle for 2, but he will gladly do that if he walks away with a valuable 4-3 victory. Shane McGuirk, the best he can do in the table. If this double 8 goes in for Ted, is 8 points. That is risky.
Oh, that's made it awkward, as you can see from his expression. How much can he see? Oh, not a lot.
Through the posts are from the right-hand side, and he's going right-hand side.
What a dart that is. He only had half the bed to aim at, and he hits. That is super from Ted. Not just that dart, but the whole performance. It included 2 enormous checkouts, a 146 and a 148. He averages 98.71, 3 maximums in there as well. He maybe dropped off for a little bit in the middle of the match, but he regained composure, regained control, and took the points away from Shane McGuirk, who is now perilously placed at the bottom of the table on just 2 points. Ross Montgomery won his first match of the night. He's back in action next, and he takes on Richie Howson, the man at the top of the table. Welcome back to the live lounge in Portsmouth, where the Group B action is well underway on Friday night, and it's nearing its conclusion for a couple of nights. It could be a thrilling finale. There are only 8 games left to play in this group, and only 3 players will go through from the 5 in it. Now, 2 of them on the stage right now will feel like they are in with more than a shout. But if it's Ross Montgomery that gets the win in this one, following up from his defeat of Fallon Sherrock in the first match of the night, And the 61-year-old Glaswegian will put himself on a share of the lead with 3 other players. There'll be 4 of them on 6, including Richie Howson, the current league leader who won 3 from 4 last night. And if that happens, well, whether it happens or not, Shane McGuirk's in trouble on 2 at the bottom, isn't he? Because they've all got each other's play. It's looking mission impossible for him. If Howson wins, though, then he will feel like he's pretty much through.
He will feel that way. And most of the people in the table are hoping for the Owl to get the job done here. Including himself.
First lag, it's Ross to throw first. Game on.
He got it done last night. He played superbly, 50% on doubles and a 95 average. Ross could not get the better of him yesterday, but tonight you're starting to feel that if he's going to have that really good start, it can't stop. He was effective against Sherrock. Just shy of a 92 average.
59.
33% in his doubles. That's decent. He must take full advantage of having the throw in this match. And you've just seen Ted Evetts play superbly well.
120.
That's who Montgomery's got next, and he will have the darts against him as well. He'll finish against McGuirk in game number 8, and he will set the clubhouse target potentially if he keeps playing well.
123.
This could turn into a very, very interesting evening. Sherrock and Evetts to play next.
$81.
Doesn't matter where you look at the minute, but when Richie Howson is playing, wherever he's playing, he's doing good things. Seniors, TV stuff, here.
41.
Continually in form. Yesterday he was 50% on his doubles for the night. There are many people who have never done that. It was a very clean looking 15 hits out of 30.
57.
Nothing monstrously impressive, as in like the 111 average that Ted Evetts did. But he's the kind of player that will be very tough to beat. That's
83.
what he's all about.
What should require 140.
He's so effective, so efficient, Richie Howson. Ross Montgomery prioritised focus ahead of tonight, and he's shown plenty of that
90.
so far. Silly mistakes he felt cost him. Lost a couple of games, 4-3, lost 1 4-2 yesterday.
137. Ross
That was a bit of a
required
curious
50.
route that Ross used. Nothing curious about this.
Yeah, that's
And he
game
doesn't
short
make
in the
an error.
first lag. Ross Montgomery.
That's exactly what is on his recipe list tonight.
Second lag is
Get a
Richie
shot,
to throw
take a shot.
first. Game on.
I wonder if he's wearing his West Ham colours because he just wants that extra bit of
43.
motivation tonight. Some dart players are like that. Paul Hogan's like that when he wears his West Brom colours. Rumours today that they're going to have a new manager.
The Hammers. Yeah, I heard that one as well.
100.
I wonder what he thinks of Julian Lopetegui.
Well, last time they tried that trick, they went back to the old one pretty quickly, didn't they?
I'm not sure Moyes is going to go back again if he leaves in the summer, which is looking like it's
100.
nailed on. I don't get football management. Do you know that? You've got a manager that took you to European glory. Within a year, he's gone. Whatever happened to loyalty?
45.
Often a handsome payoff, though. I wish I got that for getting sacked.
I'll tell you what Richie's been prioritising recently.
60.
Aside from his darts, his fishing and his drawing, is buying some fine shoes. Always turns up in a really good pair of shoes, doesn't he? He's a bit like Kurt Parry. He hasn't got one pair. He's got 2
60.
pair.
He sort of slides across as well, doesn't he? Gracefully just skidding across the carpet up to the hockey.
He's a very graceful dart player.
100.
Everybody's got their own style. You don't see one dart player and think they're exactly the same as somebody else. There will be similarities. But if we were to
100.
have, as you can see, those wonderful shoes. If we were to take away all of the features and just have silhouettes throwing, we could probably guess who's throwing.
100.
It'd be easy to pick out the owl because nobody throws like he does.
Yeah, Ross a little bit more orthodox. Though does have that little thing of sort of throwing from his other eye.
140. Richie require 90.
Yeah, he goes to the middle of the face. He might be slightly left-eye dominant.
Double 19 is the target here.
That's
That's
game
brilliant.
short in his second
Attacked
leg.
it.
Richie
Wasn't
Howson.
scared of it. He levels the match with a nice
Third leg
clean
is Ross to throw
combination.
first. Game on.
Yeah, look at that drawback from Montgomery. It goes to the left side of the nose as he looks at the board.
45.
That is something that Phil Taylor did as well because he was left-eye dominant. Martin Lukeman does it now. He's left-eye dominant.
Yeah, Bobby George. Very, very dramatically.
100.
Right from the other side of his face, wasn't it, Bobby George?
Absolutely. And people used to copy that back in the 80s thinking that's just the way he played the game, but
100.
that's what was natural to him because of his eye dominance. It wasn't even mentioned as a thing until the time when Phil Taylor was talking about retirement. Because they started bringing in cameras
100.
over the dartboard and people started to realise, well, where's he standing? What's he doing with the dart? Where's it being drawn back to? And people started to ask questions.
We mentioned everybody having their own style, their own
45.
pre-shot routine. Richie Howson walking up to the hockey. You'll notice that Ross Montgomery puts one foot on the hockey before he settles down behind it.
He's not the only person who does this.
140.
There it is. Up you go. Back down.
There are a few that'll sort of kick it, aren't they, as well? Just give the hockey a kick with one foot.
Yeah, Rob Cross is the king of the kick. He kicks it 4 or 5 times before every
41.
throw.
Richie, you require 161.
Gary Anderson curls his toes up against the hockey. Ruins a pair of shoes pretty much every couple of months.
137.
And Johnny Clayton is very much of the same ilk as Montgomery. Steps on top, steps back, then gets comfortable and throws.
100.
For some
Richie, you
people, I
require
figured out why
24.
they do it. And it took me years to figure this out. It's not taking
That's
Richie
been
Howson
short
long
in the third
to
leg.
figure out how to take the
Richie
lead.
Howson.
Finishes at 24.98.
Four laggers,
I've
Richie
got him
to
back
throw
in front.
first. Game on.
So you might wonder why a player might approach the hockey, step on top, and then go back. I was talking to a young man in the last few months who had a problem with
140.
walking up to the hockey, placing their foot behind a raised hockey, and then almost tipping over. And at that point, it made me realise that some players who do that,
45.
they need to stop themselves from walking. They need a break. And by stepping on the hockey and then stepping down, it actually gets them into position instead of tipping forward.
43.
I always find it interesting that nobody has ever decided that there is a correct way, that there is a certain way that is the best way of approaching
60.
the hockey, of standing at the hockey, of throwing the darts, the weight of darts. It's each to their own in this sport, isn't it? There's nothing uniform about this game.
That's what makes it intriguing. If you look at golf, and you look at a company
100.
like TaylorMade, for instance, if I may drop a name out there, Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, Scotty Scheffler, What do they all have in common? And I'm going to throw Colin Morikawa into that as well.
140.
They all use the same stuff. In darts, Howson uses his kit, Montgomery uses his kit, Fallon uses her kit, Evetts uses his kit. It's all tailored. In golf, they have the same stuff, but it's
140.
micro-tailored. Different shafts, different types of grips, but predominantly the club heads are exactly the same. This is very much a tailored sport.
140. Richie requires
Whatever
78.
Richie Howson's doing is working once again.
That came short.
That
in
would
the
have been
forward leg.
a really good
Richie
guide
Howson.
for Howson, that dart. He used it perfectly, put it straight above it, and he's
Fifth
well
leg
on
is
top
Ross
of
to
Ross
throw
Montgomery
first.
here,
Came
and he
on.
might be about to move clear at the top of the table.
The way he's playing against Montgomery this week, Richie's going to have to change his nickname from the Owl to the CEO because he's got the mark of the boss.
140.
He's playing like a player who refuses to be denied a spot in Saturday night. And we are talking about a player that hasn't even won a weekly title yet.
180.
But I'm sure wife Lynn will be here on Saturday cheering on the Owl. Should he get there, and that's getting closer. I think, Lynn, you can
60.
start planning your Saturday night.
Might want to get on the phone to Keegan Brown and Ros Brown as well. Get some tickets for them because I think those tickets are going to be very sparse by the end of the night. Not exactly the longest commute for Keegan,
60.
though. Just a bit over the water.
He has been here a few times watching. Great that we do see some of the tour card holders here. Damon Hetter, of course, came last year.
45.
Yeah, good friends with the big rig, Ben Robb.
I think Owen Bates was here, wasn't he, on Sunday?
He was. Good friends with Cam Crabtree. Got to have friends on tour. Otherwise, it's a very lonely life.
97.
Well, 164 for Howson to win it in style. Montgomery needs 100 to leave 156. A checkout he checked out last night,
60.
but he can't
Richie, you
get to it
require
this time, and that
164.
allows Howson the luxury of not having to go for this.
Is he going to stay there? Oh, my
100.
word. How has that gone in? And for your next trick? Seriously? How did that go in?
140. Richie requires
Ross
64.
Montgomery tries to lob a cat amongst the pigeons, but the Owl has been flying high since the beginning of last night. And that
Game
continues.
shot
Howson
and a
gets the
match.
job done.
Richie Howson.
He pulls clear at the top of the table with a thumping 4-1 victory over Ross Montgomery. That moves Howson onto 8 points, and he's in touching distance now of finals night. A 4-1 success. Look at that average as well, 97.88. Good value for it. 4 out of 5 on the doubles. The finishing was fantastic in that game. He's now 2 clear of Ted Evetts and Fallon Sherrock. Now they're going to go head-to-head in the next game. 2 players who have always had a great influence on this sport.
Hang on a minute. Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already. Itching to hit the 180. He's gone for the maximum. $18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape. Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable.
Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out. That's what he is. Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosch.
Pie Face is through. He gets
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Plenty of fun was had on Sunday here at the Modus Super Series, an influencer event that featured both of these players, Fallon Sherrock and Ted Evetts. And you'd have to say that Fallon is one of the biggest influencers in the world of darts. That ceiling smashing win against Evetts at the Ali Pali started a whole new trend of women playing darts. She inspired many to pick up arrows for the first time, and now we have the women's tour. We have loads of success for lady players in
First
this
lag
sport.
is Ted to throw first.
And she's carried on being a player with a thirst for a first. She was the first to hit a 9-darter in the PDC last year. She was the first to hit a 9-darter, first woman to hit a 9-darter on TV here in this venue at the Modus Super
41.
Series. But she won't be the first woman to win a week, because that happened last Saturday, which, like Sunday, was a sellout here at the Super Series. But could lightning strike twice, Paul
59.
Nicholson? If it is going to, then she's got to get the job done tonight.
It can strike twice in the same place. However, mission 1 is to get through.
180.
Beating Ted yesterday was rather fortuitous, because not for the first time this week
43.
they went 4-3. Fallon has won 3 of their 4 meetings, but this is the most important one of the lot. And yes, there's some bias in that because it's happening right now.
134.
But darts is all about the now. Get your next 2 points, then you focus on the next mission.
100. That you require 146.
Ted Evetts took out this finish in the previous match. He went treble 19, double 16. That was the intention again.
90.
I think Richie Howson's done them both a favour in beating Montgomery and stopping his charge. He played really well in his first game against Fallon.
100. That you require 56.
But nobody has played as well as Ted at times here in this group.
Full focus from Ted Evetts.
Yeah,
He finds a double.
short in the first leg.
Fallon was left
Ted
a long way
Evetts.
behind in that leg. Every single match so far
Second leg,
tonight,
it's Fallon the
won
throw
by the
first.
player throwing
Game on.
second. Is Ted going to be the first to win with throw this evening?
And good averages too. Montgomery 91.73, Evetts 98.71,
58.
Howson 97.88, and weirdly, that looked like the best one. Probably because he was 4 out of 5 on doubles.
96.
We maybe do overuse some superlatives sometimes, but this week, Richie Howson has been lethal on the outer ring. He's more than 50% now.
140.
Well, this has been a nice side story of the week, of course, because of that famous match, which will be forever referred to every time Fallon Sherrock enters the stage at any
58.
tournament. But its own story is they've played close competitive games all week. In fact, every single one of them going all 7 legs.
48.
Yeah, I think they've got good game chemistry. And if you, 4.5 years later, are sick of us talking about it, do you think Keith Deller's sick of talking about his world final in 1983?
140.
He never gets sick of talking about historic moments.
Yeah, 4-3 4 times, 3 of those going the way of Fallon Sherrock this week. She's on a finish first in this leg, but it's a huge one.
$57.
No trouble for Ted.
155.
Oh, that was 20 on the floor. She'd have felt worse if that was 60.
77.
She has recovered well.
150.
Based on how Ted's been finishing tonight, you got to hold your breath here. Oh no. What's Ted up to this time? It's double 18. He's got another one.
Short in the second leg.
He's going in sequence as well. 146, 148,
Third leg is
150.
first.
Which means at some point tonight, and maybe in the near future, 152 is going to happen.
Is it going to happen for Fallon Sherrock tonight, though? This would be a second defeat in as many matches, and it would be a defeat that would see her just hanging on to that third spot. Evetts would join Howson on 8 points. This could be the difference. This match could be the difference between qualifying and not for either player.
Absolutely. Ted's bingo card this week on high finishes has been outrageous. Maybe one of the best we've ever seen. 167, 154. Against Sherrock, he's had 130,
60.
137, 147 and 150. And that's just some of the shots he's hit.
137.
And some people in our YouTube chat have accused Ted of maybe not playing his best darts against Sherrock this week. Just dig a little deeper, people. He has played some great stuff, but Sherrock has found a way.
But he's keeping it up tonight, Ted Evetts. He started fantastically and he's carried it on into this game. Once again, he's well into 3 figures on the average. Pretty much 20 points better than Fallon Sherrock in that
97.
department.
That should require
He's going to be 3 legs better than Fallon Sherrock in a moment as well. He will be if he hits tops.
36. Fallon, you require 136.
Is it Fallon's turn for a big one? It might just be.
120.
A very close call.
That you require 40.
They're the shots that change matches. So close for Fallon Sherrock.
20. Fallon, you require
This is exactly
8.
what happened in the first game. Ted was flying and then started missing darts at double. He managed to pull it back round for the end, but Fallon does need to punish him and cannot.
4.
She's missed some key doubles this week.
That you require 20.
They both have. That's why they both nearly won Group A.
That's game
Well,
short.
Ted is 3-0 up.
Ted Evetts.
The last thing Fallon needs is her leg difference to be butchered.
4 legs. Fallon the throw first. Game on.
It's already at -1. If she was to lose 4-1, for example,
134.
and go to -4, the only saving grace she's got is that she's in a better position than McGuirk and Montgomery, but McGuirk would have a game in hand. Her final 2 games are against Richie Howson and Shane McGuirk. That game against
41.
Howson looks like trying to scale a rope bridge with greasy hands at the minute.
Well, he was the only player to beat Fallon Sherrock last night, Richie Howson. Good news.
96.
And you mentioned it. Howson did her a favour by beating Ross Montgomery in the previous match. He's better off on points. Shane McGuirk does have a game in hand, but he's 2 wins behind Sherrock.
42.
So he would need to get one of them and then beat her.
He's doing himself a lot of favours here, Ted.
56.
We talk about climbing the ladder for a 120 finish quite a lot. He's climbing the ladder of the table in a very healthy way here tonight. She needed that.
180.
First one for her in this contest, and first one of the night as well. But the end product is going to be needed too.
That
44.
helps. That
Funny you
helps
require 104.
Sherrock a lot. It means that she doesn't have to take it out, which eases the pressure on the shot.
56.
Even then, you want to leave a double with 3 darts in hand. She still has to burn one.
96.
I'm not going to predict
Funny
what
you
happens
require 48.
from here because I tried to predict what happened in Group C. I got it all wrong.
Yeah, that's game short in the forward line.
Game on, maybe. But that's just a hold to throw.
Yeah, Evetts wants it done. No nonsense
Fifth
in
flag
this
is
leg on
set to
throw.
throw first. Game on.
As he shaking off the mid-match slump. He did suffer that in the first game as well.
90.
He saw his average go from 3 figures down to below 90, then back up again.
I think what he's proven is that you can have a mid-match slump, but it can't be more than 2 legs.
99.
This is their 5th match of the week. They could play as many as 7 times.
80.
But they both have to qualify tonight to have a chance of that.
$140.
She's not done yet. She has not lost that steely focus. At times it has been troubled with those misses at double 2.
$96.
I said yesterday, Murph, that I could watch these two going at it on the dartboard for days. This is day 5 of it.
98.
I still love watching them play.
I did the right thing there, moving across to the 18 to ensure a finish was left. Had she stayed on the 20s and hit a single, Fallon would not be able to complete a checkout here. And Ted
56.
himself
Following
doing
you
something
require
similar
164.
by moving to a different target. So both on whoppers. Fallon Sherrock's won't go, but she is going to force Ted
128.
into taking
Ted
out
should
the
require
fish.
170.
Both on whoppers, but this would be a Big Mac.
And she's left the double that did for Ted Evetts at the Ali Pally here.
100. Following you require 36.
This will bring back some memories.
That's game short in the 5th leg. Fallon Sherrock.
I can tell she wanted to supersize the game.
6 leg, it's Fallon to throw first.
Well, you
Game
said
on.
game on when she got one leg back, and now it certainly is. Ted Evetts knows he's in a match. He knows that she's more than a match for him.
140.
And we'll be thinking, how have I let this happen? Why have I let this happen?
Now, one of the qualities that Sherrock has got is this steely focus. But on top of that, she does have an incredible amount of resilience. This is not a contact sport, but she does still remind me of somebody in a contact sport.
95.
Katie Taylor. You can knock her down, but she's going to get up. She's the kind of dart player that gets a metaphorical black eye and starts to smile at you.
180.
On this occasion, it's Ted himself who's chucking in the tub-thumping darts.
114.
But she gets to the finish first. She gets hit right on the nose, but then counter-punch, spot on. This must be pinpoint for Fallon Sherrock.
How much would it hurt now? Ted Evetts has just gone 180, 171 to leave 16 after 9. Double 6 would mean he doesn't get a go.
114.
What a leg.
Tattoo requires 16.
What a match.
What a win.
Shot
What a
and
performance.
Ted Evetts.
Brilliant game of darts. Fantastic final leg as Ted does it in 10. A 4-2 success over Fallon Sherrock, sealed with that 10-darter to win it. An average of 95.26. Another enormous checkout, having had 2 in his first match of the night. The 150 follows the 146 and the 148 from earlier. And it is 2 wins from 2 for Ted Evetts. That is a victory that sees him join Richie Howson on 8 points at the top of the table and leaves Fallon Sherrock in need of picking up at least 1 win somewhere tonight, you would think. Howson, the league leader, is back in action next, and if he beats Shane McGuirk, will secure his spot in the Saturday finale.
Thanks for joining us once again. It's Friday Night Darts for another 41 minutes before we go into the early hours of Saturday. And things are very interesting in our Group B table, that's for sure. Richie Howson, start of the night in position number 1. He has embellished his position at the top of the table by winning against Ross Montgomery in game number 3. And if he wins this match, he will be the first person to double figures in points and safe for Saturday, you feel. Ted Evetts, with that brilliant win against Fallon Sherrock just now, has given himself a chance to make Saturday for the first time.
First, game on.
He's got 2 matches to go. These two have got 3 matches to go. And it's Montgomery and Sherrock who have got 2 matches as well. But they are the people who
60.
Oh, just sweating a little bit more. McGuirk will have to win his remaining games to stand any chance.
Ironically, in the next match, Fallon Sherrock is looking for a
96.
favour from Ted Evetts, who will be in the same position as Howson. If he wins, he'll be through. He'll get to 10 points. That's going to be enough. But it would also leave Montgomery in a position where he could only get
41.
to 6, which is the amount Sherrock would already be on. A defeat here for McGuirk. And that's the most he could get as well. So suddenly it would look
45.
like Sherrock was in a strong position.
Well, this was an interesting game on Thursday night because it was the only defeat for Howson, even though he had a mid-90s average.
100.
And Shane, who was hitting the brick wall yesterday against everybody, or should I say
60.
they were hitting him with the kitchen sink every time, this is the one win he got. You stressed that if he loses this one, he is going to be going back to Ireland this weekend
100.
with no Saturday night action in the bank and no chance of making Champions Week in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he'd need a mini miracle, wouldn't he? And have to
100.
beat both the players above him, Montgomery and Sherrock, immediately above him. And then hope that they don't pick up a win anywhere else and overturn what could be a very big leg deficit as well.
Do you know what,
60.
Miff? I think we're going to have a really interesting Saturday night because we have it on good authority that there are a few guys coming down from Telford for Dan Asprey. We've got people coming for
140,
Justin
which you
Hood.
require 140.
There could be a very distinct owl flavour in the air with Richie Howson fans coming here.
100.
So it looks
Shane,
like
you
he's going to
require
qualify.
60.
There could be factions here. Tops for Arrow.
Well, shaking his head before throwing at double 10.
That's game short in the first leg. Shane McGuirk.
Never a good sign, but it worked out for Shane McGuirk in the end. Puff of the cheeks. It's hard
Second
work
leg,
for
it's Shane to
McGuirk.
throw first.
He has broken the league leader in the first leg.
41.
You mentioned Whoppers in the previous game. If there's a big mark here tonight, it's going to be Shane, isn't it? I don't see anybody else's name starting with MC.
He's going to need a triple
100.
victory as well.
That sounds like a good sandwich. Sign me up.
Howson is on the amount of points that Shane McGuirk
140.
can get to. He knows it's in his hands. Even if he loses this game, he'll have another 2 tries to get to 10. And even if he doesn't get to 10, he still might end up going through.
60.
Can't afford to rest on that, though. I have seen players score 8 points and not get through
81.
and be eliminated on leg difference.
8 points is the number that everybody can finish on in this group, isn't it?
You're trying to tell me something?
60.
We've nearly been there before. We've been one result away from it. It's never happened. We've never had that.
What you're saying is that requires Fallon to win
99.
another game, Ross to win 2 more, and Shane to win 2 more.
I don't think it can happen in this group tonight because Evetts and Howson still have to play each other.
I see.
But it is that there are 40 points to play for.
140. Shane, you require 140.
It'll happen one day.
It will. It will.
Even though we have had records broken over the last few weeks, there are still a few things that have never taken place. 30 points in a Group A campaign.
60. Richie, you
Yeah, all the
require
players getting the same points in
141.
any group. That's never happened, apart from, of course, in the finals night groups where they all get 2. Richie Howson may get all 3 here.
129.
Was not far away.
Shane, you require 80.
A rare miss at double for Richie.
He misses a 1-4-1. McGuirk, this is going to be awkward. Can he use that as a guide?
40. Richie, you require 12.
Evidently not. Richie will hit this.
Well, it's so close. But has it made it more difficult?
That's
Great
game short
dart.
in the second leg.
Great
Richie
finish. He
Howson.
breaks back. He missed a 1-4-1, but he took out the double six
Third
on his
leg is
return.
Richie
And I
to
just
throw
want to give
first.
my own little
Game
tribute
on.
to a 1-4-1 attempt from this afternoon, because I really did enjoy Andy Hamilton's 9-dart attempt when, having missed the treble 19, he still went for the double 12.
That kind of behaviour is catching on, and I blame Michael
41.
van Gerwen for that. I think people are going to start doing that at their ADC events and things like that.
It should also be mentioned, shouldn't it, that if you
28.
got through to finals night this week, that is some effort when you think about the players that haven't. Darius Labanauskas made it at the expense of Andy Hamilton and Johnny Haynes. They're two players that you would have probably expected to see there.
140.
There are weeks like that, and we're seeing them more often than ever.
Going to be a couple of players from this group that don't make it.
82.
Players that have been there before.
I still don't want to speculate who that's going to be, especially after what happened this afternoon.
We mentioned being tied on points in a finals night group.
140.
That can sometimes result in a 9-dart shootout, and Richie Howson's been part of one of those.
And he knows he made an error in that bullseye. Sorry, with the bullseye in that
21.
9-dart shootout. He should have used it, and had he used it, who knows what would have happened?
How good was the recent one when Jimmy Van Ski won his finals night? Darryl Pilgrim hit a 180 in the 9-dart shootout
43.
and came third out of 3.
Outrageous. That was some evening.
We've had some fantastic nights this year. I have to say, I've been
135.
really,
Richie
really
require 137.
grateful for the crowds. They've turned up in their numbers in 2024.
They make the atmosphere. We don't take them for granted either, because there was a night in a series,
97.
maybe over a year ago, where Mike Warburton won. And we only had a couple of people here. There was something very important going on locally with the football team.
105. Richie, you require 40.
But when they turned up for Jimmy Van Ski that night and the others, that atmosphere was outrageous.
That's game short
Just
in the
like this
third
form
leg.
of Richie Howson. He's playing bulletproof stuff.
It's carried on since. We haven't had a really poorly
Forward
attended
leg,
night
it's
this
Shane to
year.
throw first.
And
Game on.
I think the audience are just coming on word of mouth and coming back on what they've experienced, because they guarantee good darts, they guaranteed a good night. And whoever gets through from this group, as you can see, is going to provide that. Shane McGuirk is bottom of the table.
And we're also getting people coming here every Saturday. People
60.
who love to come and watch darts every single Saturday because it's so affordable and it's motivational for some of the young kids that come.
85.
Because this is a darts town. It's a darts county. That's why we're here in Hampshire. The history of this part of England has given
60.
serial major champions.
There are weekly events, weekly local pub, club darts tournaments that are drawing 100 people.
60.
I lived in a major city before moving down here in Leeds, and you could not get that there.
Yeah, Bradley Brooks was saying the same thing when he was down here a few weeks ago. Up in Blackburn, where he lives,
100.
they might get 50 to a local comp. They're getting double that in this county.
Shane McGuirk
136.
taking care to check his score before carrying on throwing at the treble 20 there. Teeing up tops after 12.
60. Shane, you require 40.
White flag time for the Owl. Well, that one's flattened out. This is hard now.
Yeah, that's game
That's
short
why he
in
went
fourth
clean on
leg.
the left-hand
Shane
side. That's a
McGuirk.
great shot from Shane. A lot of people
Fifth
in our
flag is Richie to throw first.
comment section saying that McGuirk should be called Shane O'Mac. I think that's a wrestling connotation with Shane McMahon. Mind you, he could walk out to Here Comes the Money, and that would be fun.
80.
I promise that if he ever does change his name from Arrow to Shane O'Mac, that we wouldn't get him to do any big elbow drops from the top of
100.
the rigging material. Only wrestling fans are going to get that one. But he wants to keep winning darts tournaments from coast to coast.
180. 80.
But winning this match is being made to look very, very difficult because Howson is relentless.
99.
A reminder, if Richie Howson does win this game, he is through to finals night on Saturday. And that's the perfect first start for him.
And with 2 games to spare.
100. $44. Richie, you require 141.
Another chance on a 1-4-1. Not this time. And just looking at the fixture sheet.
43.
If McGuirk loses this game, by the time he plays next, he could already be out.
100. Richie, you require 98.
So Howson take this out already. Treble 20, double 19. Won't take it out with any
58.
combination this
Shane, you
time, but
require
McGuirk needs
158.
to hit big. And won't. Howson will come back for tops. Now, not the ideal double for Richie Howson, this one, is it? Because if he misses
Richie, you
it
require
above,
40.
he blocks it.
Yeah, that's game short in the 5th flag.
Avoids
Richie
any
Howson.
of that danger. If he misses it, he's not missing much, is he, Richie
6
Howson?
flag, it's Shane to throw first. Game on.
Someone asking in the
40.
chat room, someone who's obviously been here before, if it's still 3 for a tenner. It certainly is.
That's right, people. Get your priorities right.
140.
Price of the libations. I suppose it does have some sort of bearing on whether you can attend. But if you're driving,
140.
it's not that far from the main roads into town.
Yeah, don't mix the two. Just better make that clear.
$140.
Is this going to be the Owls' week? He's lost in a final before to Andreas Harrison. And has been the scourge to many people here in Portsmouth
96.
over the last year and a half.
Another question in the chat. Does anybody know who the caller is? If you're referring to the referee, then that is the Dutchman, Marco Meyer. who's officiated
140.
some big games in his time.
Hasn't he just? Lakeside, Dutch Open.
Yeah, he's done some Dutch Open finals.
121. Richie, you
He's
require
going to referee
81.
a 2-time Dutch Open champion in the next match.
He was calling when Ross Montgomery actually won. Great dart. And this could be it for Howson.
65.
Will he be back in this leg, or
Shane,
can
you require
McGuirk
104.
manage some magic?
Can you cling on? Can he cling on? He's just making sure what he's got left. The judges say it.
72.
In Klingon, Biler Be'e.
Richie, you require 16.
To book his place
Game shot and a match.
in
Richie
finals
Howson.
night, Richie Howson is there. The Owl through to the Saturday showdown. And Shane McGuirk, well, he is in a whole heap of trouble. Doesn't look like he'll be making his finals night return. But Richie Howson, with that 4-2 victory, is the first player through from Group B. And he can be joined by Ted Evetts if he gets the same outcome when he faces Ross Montgomery after the break. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we are at the halfway stage of Friday's throws, and Richie Howson has done it. He's done it with a couple of games to spare. That victory over Shane McGuirk, 4-2. Look, we said it last night, he was just looking so effective from his first couple of matches yesterday, and he's gone and got the job done. He's been really good, hasn't he?
So assured and so accurate as well. His doubles this week have been outrageously good. When someone in a match is 50% or better in a best-of-7 leg encounter, we think that that is world class. So what do people think of him being over 50% for 6 games? This is a level of player that I'm not sure I thought Richie Howson would ever attain. We're starting to talk about a player that is a world-class talent, and he's over 50, finding his best stuff. This is encouraging and inspirational for a lot of people. He is so threatening in many different departments. He's got good scoring now. He's got great doubling. But I think the best thing he's got is what's between his ears. He doesn't have that pressure around him. His aura is so relaxed. It's almost as if he's sitting next to the fishing lake, just waiting for the next carp to be caught. And yet, he's beating some world-class dart players along the way.
Yep, he sealed that spot with that win against Shane McGuirk. Ted Evetts in the next match is looking to do the same. He can get to 10 points if he beats Ross Montgomery, and he's certainly got a few tricks up his sleeve tonight, hasn't he, Ted?
He's had tricks up his sleeve all week. It's just been the timing of some of these shots has maybe come too early in matches and maybe too early in campaigns, but he's starting to find things like this at the right time. His Group B form has been really good. And some of the finishes he's finding, 146, 148, 150, they are all tonight. And that's adding to his bag of tricks from earlier in the week. He's in great form.
Yeah, we can see him here taking out that 150 to defeat Fallon Sherrock. Now, interestingly, Fallon herself, she was in the same position as Richie Howson before tonight started. She's had the opposite outcome tonight, losing her first 2 games. What does she need to change mentally to make sure she gets through?
I think what she needs in her next match is to get out of the gate and establish a little bit of comfort. It feels like she's been chasing all night after a somewhat sketchy beginning to her matches. She could do with getting a 2-0 lead in her next game, and that might just give her the confidence to get over the line. And she's been working so hard this week, she could do with just having a little bit of a breather, even if it's just for 45 to 60 seconds.
Right, let's see how the land lies in the league table. Richie Howson, as mentioned, is through already. He's made it to that all-important 10 points. Ted Evetts can get there. So can Fallon Sherrock. Still in her hands. She's got 2 games to go. She can get to 10 points. But she will probably be now, ironically, looking for a favour from Ted in his next game against Ross.
It's amazing how many times we bring this up. Someone who is your opponent and you want to beat them, but within a matter of 10, 15, 20 minutes... you are spurring those players on to give you a bit of a hand. And Darius Labanauskas was in a very similar situation earlier when he was doing himself some favours, but in the end, he was hoping that the other people would make it easier for him.
Yeah, just 5 matches to go to decide who makes it through to finals night on week 10. But week 11 gets underway on Monday, and this is the lineup. It's another really stacked field, isn't it? You see the middle, right in the middle of your screen, Scott Taylor, the reigning champion, looking for a second chance to get through to Champions Week. But Aidan Kirk here for the first time. Devon Peterson back by popular demand, as is Ashley Coleman. Everywhere you look, there are some explosive arrow slingers on that screen.
I think that's a really nice mix of both experience and new. I don't know much about Andrew Davidson. I know a little bit about Michelle van der Horst. We know plenty about Devon and Brian. Obviously, Scott Taylor. Aidan Kirk, I'm really excited about his form. I think he's in fantastic nick. Richard has obviously played well at the Champion of Champions very recently. And then you got 2 other players in Brandon and Sean in Group C, which some Darts Cast podcasts have been getting very excited about. But they're still beating the drum for a certain someone. But... we're going to have to make do with those guys. And I'm really excited to see if we can unearth somebody else along the lines of Dan Asprey this week, because he has shown everybody who is a new face to this place that you can do whatever you want if your form is right.
Absolutely. Next week could be fun, but the rest of tonight could be fun. So we will focus on that. And of course, you could be here on Saturday to watch some of the Super Slingers at the Super Series. Tickets are available at the end of this feature. There's a QR code. Scan it and book your tickets to Saturday night. On we go then with week 10. 5 matches of the group stages still to go. Ted Evetts and Ross Montgomery about to do battle in game 6 of tonight's 10. And a win for Ted Evetts would secure him a spot at finals night. Ross Montgomery, he really needs to win himself. If he loses this game, then he could be out before he plays again. Fallon Sherrock taking on Richie Howson in the game that follows could end up being in a position to just win one game to put herself through. But it's all about Super Ted at the moment, and he will be looking to secure his first Saturday night berth.
First leg, it's Ross to throw first. Game on.
This campaign for Ted has definitely gone better than his last Group B campaign. So from a progressional point of view, things are good, but the job is not done.
This match last night went the way of Evetts in a last leg decider.
The standard of play tonight has been
140.
Of the same sort of ilk as Thursday going into the early hours of Friday. The lowest average of tonight so far, 82, just like last night. And lots of good high 80s and mid-90s average stuff. Definitely, quality-wise, the best group of the week. But how often is Group B the
54.
best quality group of the week? Most of the time.
Well, the winners have been coming from Group B recently. If you look at the recent victors, as Ross Montgomery stakes his claim to be among them. Bo Greaves, of course, came from Group B last week.
137. Ross, you require 136.
2 weeks before, Kieran Tierney and Bradley Brooks both came from Group B, so that's 3 on the spin from this group.
You mentioned Bradley Brooks. That might be
72.
Immensely motivational for Ted.
70.
He would love to have a crack at Champions Week with Brad, one of his best friends in the world. He's currently over in Germany playing development tour darts.
96. Ross, you require 64.
48 or 24. Neither. Now it's 40.
Yeah, that came short in the first
Right
round.
in the heart.
Ross Montgomery.
That's saying hello to the front door and just
Second
smashing
leg
your
is
way
Ted to
through.
throw first. Game on.
A really good 15 darter there from Ross. I feel at times when we're talking for 5 to 10 minutes about a certain player's chances,
140.
it feels like we're forgetting about Ross Montgomery's chances of making the top 3. And you do get the feeling that maybe his best way through to Saturday night for a second time is to get that third spot.
140.
Howson looks like he's destined to win this group the way he's playing. Ted Evetts is in the silver medal position at the minute, but that's definitely not secure.
96.
It might turn out that Shane McGuirk is the sacrificial lamb and everybody might take their points against him. So far tonight, that has happened.
85.
But it's also happened to Sherrock as well. She's lost to Evetts and to Montgomery. But when you take into consideration the points
57.
in the table right now, if there is a victory that Sherrock wants, it's for Super Ted to beat the former Scotland captain.
Absolutely.
120.
Daggers to the 60.
Well, he took out this 156 last night. Ross Montgomery will come back for another go at it, but Evetts hoping to level the match.
58.
Well, they do actually have a dagger in a kilt, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah, they do. Evetts has also left a finish that he's taken out. He took it out tonight.
Yeah, good luck trying to find a finish he hasn't taken out this week.
100. That you require 150.
19s is the Evetts route.
For some reason, it just didn't feel as likely as the last time.
58. What you require 56.
Last time he hit tops, he hit it right in the middle.
Yeah, that came short.
It's not right in the middle, but he'll take it. And if Montgomery does get the win in this match,
Like it's Ross to throw first.
we're going to have 3 winners tonight, getting 2 wins. And the other 2 people without any points at all.
100.
If Montgomery doesn't get through, what's he going to do in Portsmouth tomorrow? I don't think there's any darts competitions on during the day.
You can come and watch.
140.
That would hurt, wouldn't it? Turning up on a Saturday night, surrounded by fans, watching all the people that you've played this week, having a crack at a big money prize and a chance for Champions Week.
Do you know what I think I'd do if it was
26.
me? Give you suggestions in the chat, but I think you mentioned Keegan Brown might nip over on the ferry. I think I might go the other way.
It's a lovely part of the world.
Little day trip to the Isle of Wight.
140.
I went over to visit Keegan Brown 2.5 years ago. And randomly, just walking around the island, I bumped into loads of people I knew who were from this area, and they were just going over there for the day. What a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, get yourself a ticket to ride.
Might not be your cup of tea, Murph. That Isle of Wight ferry's a bit choppy.
I've just come back from a cruise. I've got my sea legs now, Paul. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we'll test those out. Oh, look at this.
It's Montgomery who's cruising in this one, isn't it?
180.
Getting himself out of choppy waters.
116.
Is he about to sink Ted Evetts?
He's going to need to hit this, you know. Can't get past his own blocker.
56.
Montgomery has not put a foot wrong here.
96.
Averaging 103 and hasn't missed a double.
Sometimes it all goes wrong. But in this match, it's all going right for Ross Montgomery, who seems to be bailing himself out of a spot of bother. 3 out of 3 on the doubles. 104.86 is his average. He's doing to Ted Evetts what Ted Evetts has done to others.
Right now, if a WWE crowd was in this building, they'd be
96.
chanting, "You still got it." Age is but a number in darts. He's 61 years of age. He's popping in 104. And Ted Evetts, who is
100.
a bit of an aficionado when it comes to a few culinary delights, when he was 3-0 down and watching that 96 being planted, it's as if someone had just served him duck à l'orange from an Alain Ducasse restaurant. He took a taste and he said, my word, that's good. This is relentless.
140.
He's making this very tough sport look easy when he's in this kind of form. But this is what Ted was doing yesterday towards the end of play. These are high-caliber players, all of which share one thing in common. None of them are on the PDC Tour at the top level, and they can still put in these kind of numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Stunning
100.
standard. Stunning standard in this group. Ted Evetts here is averaging 98.19. He has not had a look in this game.
Do you know what I would like in this too?
Ross, you require 161.
Ted went to Curry's and bought himself the Hubble telescope. And the way this game's gone, he can't even see the horizon.
This is about as good a chance as he's had in the match.
Ted, you require 112.
112 finish for a 15-darter. That's how spectacularly strong Ross Montgomery has been in the game. Ted Evetts has not had
60. Ross, you
a
require
darter double.
64.
And he might not get one. The way that Ross has finished, this is going to be found.
$44.
And it's a shock to the system that it wasn't.
52.
So an unlikely reprieve for Ted, who will eventually get a shot at the outer ring. It was a must-find.
The forward leg. That's Evetts.
And Sherrock's dream of Super Ted getting a result for her is still alive, but only just.
Things could yet get even more interesting. Montgomery looking to go level with Sherrock on 6 points. He'd only be 2 points behind Evetts, who isn't yet safe,
60.
remember. He went into this match knowing he would be through if he won. That leg just stopped an almighty slide, and every leg might make a difference tonight.
$98.
If Montgomery wins this one, the pair of them will have the same leg difference.
Where have we heard that before? Oh, that's right, this afternoon.
60.
It's been another crazy week.
We had a player sneak through this afternoon, didn't we? Is Montgomery going to be the one that does it tonight? And actually, to give Paul Nicholson credit, last night he said, I can see Montgomery sneaking through.
180.
Yeah, but I did say I've changed my mind today about 4 times.
Yeah, and Ted Evetts has found it again, so watch out, Ross.
Well, think about the week in its entirety. Dan Astbury
100.
got through with the smallest points total in Group A history, with 18. This afternoon, that group was ridiculous. Went to the last match.
59.
This one might do the same. It's Sherrock against McGuirk is the last game. What's going to be on the line come that time? We're going to have some twists and turns before we get to that point. This place is going to be like the Monaco Grand Prix.
That you require 164.
Can he add another to the brilliant bingo card of big finishers? Not on this occasion, but he will look to at least leave a 2-darter. 25 or bull here.
64. Rush, you require 156.
Hit this yesterday. He's going for it for a second time.
Game.
And he hits
shot,
it to win the
and
match.
Ross
That is a
Montgomery.
polished performance as Ross puts on the gloss. A 4-1 win for Montgomery against Evetts. 102.12 the average, and that 156 checkout saw him complete the match with an 80% success rate in that department. 4 out of 5 on those doubles, a couple of maximums, and by far the best performance that he has produced in this group, and a win that keeps him in the group. In fact, he now moves into 3rd place, ahead of Fallon Sherrock, who will be looking to go back into the top 3, but only if she can beat the already qualified league leader Richie Howson after the break. Welcome along to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Super Series. Well, it will be a party tomorrow anyway, but who will be at that party? Richie Howson certainly will. He's already there. The Owl, top of the table, has amassed 10 points and is through to finals night. Fallon Sherrock, well, all week she's been looking like she's on the brink of making it through, but hasn't managed to cross the line yet and might actually need a victory against Richie Howson in this one, Paul, because she's suddenly out of the top 3 after Ross Montgomery got that brilliant win against Ted Evetts in the previous game.
Yeah, she is outside the top 3 now. Worryingly, now with the same points as Montgomery, she's 4 legs behind. However, beating Richie Howson would cure a lot of her ills. This could be one of those groups, though, where 8 points might not be enough. 6 is not going to be enough by the looks of it. Montgomery looks $1 million all of a sudden. But Sherrock is going to need to find some diamonds in the rough, because tonight has been fairly rough for her as she lost to Montgomery in game 1 and to Ted Evetts in what was a brilliant 6-leg match in game 4.
120.
She's playing the only player who hasn't lost a game of darts tonight in Richie Howson. He was always relaxed, but can relax
60.
even more knowing that his fate is sealed for now. If Richie Howson is the winner tomorrow night, do you think that'll be another little
100
staking of his claim for his position in darts, because we've very much been talking about him as a player who's got success in the seniors at the latest stage of his life. But this isn't a senior category, this is an open category, any age.
Yes, very much so. You do tend to find that some players impose themselves in an age group and then graduate to something like this, where lots of different codes collide. Look at someone who does well on Nordic and Baltic stuff and then comes here and does well here.
Fallon Sherrock did it the other way around, didn't she? The big win came in the open category and the women's series success has come afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. I often talk about Krzysztof Ratajski. He did everything backwards. He won the World Masters, then he won a PDC Pro Tour event, then he won a Challenge Tour after that.
140.
So weird.
38.
The challenge here for Richie Howson is double 90. Well, he hit it earlier, he split it this time. And that's why.
Game short in the first leg.
Doesn't matter which way he goes, the outcome is the same. 1-0 Howson in a leg that saw Sherrock hit a maximum.
Second leg, it's Fallon the throw first. Game on.
He's making darts finishing look so easy that in fishing terms, he's throwing electrics in the lake and he's just picking the fish off the top. I don't want his finishing stats to be forgotten, because if they continue to the end of the group, these might be some of the most impressive finishing numbers we've ever seen in a Group B campaign. 4 out of 5 in his first game tonight. 4 out of 8 after that. He was 50% overnight.
Across the board in this group, the standard has been through the roof. The scoring in this game so far has been sublime.
$121.
Fallon Sherrock leaves a 2-darter after 9 thrown.
Just to be completely accurate, Richie Howson is almost 54% for his doubles in the group.
I mean, had an average of more than 91 across last night as well.
52.
Really strong standard. Sherrock won't mind the misses there. Just hitting single numbers to get down rather than carrying on the treble trend. Do you know about hitting 3 singles? Her average dropped 8 points then, Paul. That's how well she was scoring before it. And she levels up at 1 apiece.
Great leg. Nice mark of respect there from Richie as well. We don't tap the table in darts, we tap the thigh. If it's extra special, you get a fist bump.
100.
She has been faced with Group B adversity before, and she's fought her way out.
180.
Is it starting to happen again? You're never going to see Richie Howson
100.
decelerate just because he's through. He'll want that first position banked going into Saturday night. He'll want to be the person moving into
100.
Saturday night from here. He won't want to affect his confidence by losing to Sherrock or to Ted Evetts going into 7:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, there's no foot off the gas from Richie Howson here. Fallon Sherrock's had to up her game, and she has, to some tune.
Yeah, a lot more forceful with those darts. And not for the first time. She gets a violent bounce out. It's only been happening to her this week.
But the difference between that dart entering the board and not could be massive. Even a single 20, and she's on a much easier finish.
45. Fallon, you require 141.
She'd take 105 and run.
65.
Interesting. You might not agree with that play. You might think it's quite defensive. However, it makes a lot of sense. Because if Howson's on something makeable here, which he is now,
Fallon, you require 76.
Fallon doesn't need the bull. Might not need 3 darts.
Yeah, that's game short in the third leg.
Brilliant from
Fallon
Sherrock,
Sherrock.
this. She needed a performance. She's putting one on.
Forward leg, it's Fallon the throw
2
first.
successful
Game on.
double attempts. 76 finish. Richie Howson wondering where it's come from. This would be, or would have been, a third max for Fallon Sherrock in this
140.
game, who, with that ton 40, has now moved her average to more than 110.
This is something she's done before. She was the first lady ever to average over 110.
85.
That was in a Challenge Tour event a couple of seasons back, and that got huge headlines at the time.
57.
I remember when I played Fallon at Q School back in 2020. The amount of people that watched that game from over the rail, I was looking back thinking, are we at Q School or is this
60.
some form of other tournament? She played so well. Her finishing was outrageously good, and I gave myself small chances,
24.
but she closed me out. And that's what she's trying to do to Richie here. She's trying to close him out by not giving him enough shots to give her trouble.
A little sideshow of this match is
100.
the fact that if Fallon Sherrock does win, that would confirm that Shane McGuirk can't make it through.
And McGuirk is her final
24.
opponent. Oh no. She's lost the throw purely because of her turn.
Having a full-on conversation with herself.
100.
Let's see if the team talk worked.
And you've got to internalise those conversations as well. You can't talk to yourself out loud or put your opponent
Richie, you
off
require
in a silent room.
156.
The lips will move, but you'll be talking to yourself.
It's a brilliant last dart from Fallon Sherrock. She needed to find the treble 19 to leave a finish.
40.
And
Fallon, you
Howson may
require
have just opened the
160.
door here.
Why do I get the feeling this game's going to the wire?
40. Richie, you require 160.
Just like this whole group might. Is Howson getting a shot at a double in this leg?
Well, that dart shouldn't be a problem for him. Didn't prove to be so.
Yeah, that's
Nor
game
did that
short in the
one.
fourth
That's
line.
some more fine
Richie
finishing
Howson.
from Richie Howson. Fallon Sherrock knows that
Fifth leg is a Richie.
she
to
let him
throw
into that
first.
leg, having
Game
done
on.
the hard work in getting the break. Now she needs another.
I've seen some good
140.
finishing here over the last couple of years, but this is right up there. He's making those doubles look like they're the size of the chairs that we'll put out on Saturday night.
58.
When you said he was, 54%, I thought, well, that'll go down by the end of the night. He's actually improving it. as
Yeah, he's
things
getting
stand.
better.
$100.
It's no wonder he's a champion in seniors darts. Finishing like this, he'd be a champion in most places.
125.
Here's another problem that Fallon's got if she loses this game. The leg difference is not going to go in the right direction.
140.
And she's already had that period of the night where she wanted to beat Evetts, then wanted Evetts to give her a favour.
85.
She might need that
Richie
again
Maguire, 121.
in the shape of McGuirk. She might need him to do her a favour, and then she'd have to beat him.
Howson winning this match, of course, would see him win the group.
59.
In fact, winning this leg would see him win this group.
$100. Richie requires 62.
I'm not sure that's enough. Not when Richie's on this and the way he's been closing legs out. Just give it to him.
46.
A rare miss.
Finding you require
Well,
133.
is this the moment? Is this the treasure that Fallon Sherrock needs to unearth? Gave it a good chance. But there'll be no act of piracy in this leg.
93.
Howson looking for double
Richie,
eight
you require
to
16.
confirm his position as the Group B table topper.
Yeah, that's game short on the 5th flag. Richie Howson.
Job done.
6th flag, it's Fallon the throw first. Game on.
I don't think Richie will know it yet. He's got to be feeling so confident.
140.
She's not finished yet. These players, any of them, can win 2 straight legs against anybody else. But look at the ton count.
100.
That is incredible.
That is an incredible scoring pack there from Fallon. And it's just got better.
180.
The fact that Richie Howson, every time he comes to the board, he seems to get something that ticks over here.
140.
That is 18 scores of a ton or more. That is so reliable. But look at this.
140.
Terrific thinking, terrific darts. And how many times in this group, Chris Murphy, have we been on a 10-dart leg?
What a leg. And what a time as well. She may have to win this match.
140.
140, 180, 145. Won't be the 10-darter,
Yeah, that's game short.
but she does force a decider. And look at that, Richie Howson respecting that absolute brilliance from Fallon Sherrock. He's been the standout player in this group, but if Sherrock can win this leg, then it will be the standout moment.
100.
She might need another 4-visit leg. That's how well Richie's playing.
He's on 15 tons now, Paul.
140.
15 100s and 5 140s.
Well, look at it this way. He's not going to get to 20.
Hasn't had a 180 yet.
140.
Might not need one. Fallon is going to have to get to 221 here. And she might.
100.
It's all square. In legs and score. One error from somebody could be fatal.
Such a good game of darts.
100.
Richie Howson finding a treble seemingly every visit. He's got the lower average. Fallon Sherrock's still averaging in 3 figures.
She's going to need 4 visits. It needs to be a 4-visit leg.
Richie, you require 161.
But only if Richie Howson does not find this. That would have been bone-crunching. But for Sherrock to make Saturday, she might need to find this second consecutive
81. Fallon, you require
4-visit leg.
121.
Because the way Howson's been finishing, he might not miss that 80 shot.
The bullseye.
96.
She backed herself for it, didn't
Richie, you
entertain
require
going for the
80.
treble, and wasn't far away. But how damaging a defeat would it be if Howson pops in tops? With this dart,
40.
Sherrock
Fallon, you require
survives.
25.
One more chance. She must take it.
She can't take it.
17.
What an opportunity. And
Richie,
Ross
you
Montgomery
require 40.
in the practice room will be willing this in. Willing him on.
Game shot and a match.
Richie Howson
Richie
wins the group.
Howson.
Fallon Sherrock may not be going through to finals tonight after a really strong start last night when she, like Howson, won 3 out of 4 matches. She's had the opposite outcome from him tonight. He's won all 3, she's lost all 3, and we'll go into that final game with Shane McGuirk needing to win, and that might not even be enough. Ross Montgomery in action against McGuirk next will have the chance to put himself in an almost unassailable position. Ross Montgomery back in action, and he could seal his spot at finals night. That did not look likely for long spells of this group, but he's now in a position thanks to Fallon Sherrock's defeat at the hands of Howson in the game before this, where if he wins against Shane McGuirk, then Montgomery will be back in the Saturday session representing Scotland. McGuirk himself can move on to 4 points if he gets the better of Montgomery here. And there is still an outside chance
First lag,
of
it's Shane to
him
throw first.
turning it around. It's incredible. If Sherrock had beaten Howson, that would have gone. But Howson's through with 12 points. Ted Evetts in the next game will be in that
60.
position himself. He can go through with victory. But Ross Montgomery, who would have thought he'd have gone into his last game, Paul, knowing that if he wins, he'd be through, wouldn't have to wait for any other result.
Well, this is an ideal situation for someone who's done a great deal of good work over the last couple of days. A couple of ton-plus averages, some superb stuff.
95.
You'd love to be in Richie Howson's shoes. I know they're lovely shoes, but you'd like to be done and dusted winning the group with a game to spare, but not everybody can do that. But if somebody offers you the chance to win your last game to get
76.
through, that is a very doable situation. But I've got to ask you, who's the biggest Shane McGuirk fan right now? It's got to be Sherrock.
It has to be. And for Shane McGuirk himself, by my maths, which I'm backing myself on it, I work out that Shane McGuirk needs not just one, but 2 4-0 wins to get through. He is playing the 2 players
43.
that he is chasing for that 3rd place. So in a roundabout way, it's still in his hands, but he just needs to win both matches 4-0.
86.
He's changed his flights and stems, so you never know. It might change his fortunes. Funny things have happened.
59. Shane, you require 80.
Well, he's on a finish and Ross isn't in the opening leg.
Double 10 for Shane.
70.
That's happened a little too often when he's had chances. However, he has been somewhat stunted with the amount of chances he's had because of the brilliant scoring from the likes of Evetts
10.
and others who have put him to the sword.
That's game shot in the first lag. Shane
One
McGuirk.
down, 7 to go.
Second lag is Ross to throw first. Game on.
Well done, Shane.
Happy with that. Shane McGuirk. Well, there's one of the 8.
He's been great company this week. Caught up with him a couple of times before the last couple of sessions.
140.
He's just so relaxed in this place. He loves playing here.
Well, he needs to keep outscoring Ross Montgomery, particularly
180.
when Ross throws first. So a 140 responded to with a 180 is absolutely sublime from Shane McGuirk.
100.
I'm not sure how much of this tungsten drama I can take.
Do you think Shane
96.
McGuirk will think there's any chance of him getting through?
Probably not. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, though. We've had people who have
85.
genuinely thought they've been eliminated, and then we've had to run down the street to tell them to come back.
140.
Only leave when you're told to leave. That's what I say. And look at this. 9 darts thrown, 85 left. Somebody's unleashed Shane McGuirk all of a sudden.
Well, he goes into the last 2
100.
matches needing
So you
8
require
unanswered
85.
legs. He's got the first. A double 5 would give him the second. There it is, top corner. It's
Shane
on.
McGuirk. Third leg, it's Shane to throw first. Game on.
This is going to feel familiar for Ross. The last time he was in his final game in a Group B situation in week 12 of series
120.
number 6's. Shane gets a hat stand dart. He needed one leg in his last game. He got it. And he got through.
43.
For those Fallon Sherrock fans, she's going to have to beat McGuirk in the last game. Whatever happens here.
60.
Ross Montgomery is on a +1 leg difference before this game started. The worst he can end up is -3. That means that Fallon Sherrock's going to be behind him whatever happens on leg difference, so would have to win the match. McGuirk, though, might be going into that game still in with a chance.
Yeah. And I think that might be a good thing if that is the case. Because they could have a proper dust-up. But then again, we've got Evetts and Howson next. That could deliver
56.
almost anything based on the finishing from Richie and the scoring abilities that we've seen from Ted Evetts at times.
Yeah, he's not yet through.
Do we know how many tons he ended up on, Richie Howson, in the last game?
16, we should caveat it's anything between 100 and 139, isn't it? But it was 16.
That is very, very silly.
There is, of course, still the scenario
126.
that it could be
Shane
Ross
Require
Montgomery
124.
and Fallon Sherrock going through.
1, 2, 4, anyone? He's going for it. Or is he?
He's not
Nah.
now.
92.
That's pretty sensible, and it probably tells me he has got an inkling that he can still get through. He might not know exactly the maths, but he's thinking, yeah, don't waste any darts here. Let's make sure I get the biggest win I can and then see what position I'm in.
He's definitely having a good time at the minute. But this is a difficult shot.
16.
Oh, that's a reprieve for Ross.
Ross requires 76.
First moment that Shane will think, oh, what have I done? There's going to be no gambling on the single 20 here, I assure you. Tops.
Yeah, that's game
That
short
means
in the
McGuirk
third
is out.
Ross Montgomery.
He had a huge task
Forward leg is
to win
Ross
his last
to
two
throw
games
first. Game on.
without losing a leg. And he cannot qualify now.
I think he knew. Judging by that reaction, his entire body language has changed in the last 10 seconds.
140.
And Fallon's going to be saying, come on, Shane, get it back.
Yeah, well, if Montgomery does turn this around and win, then she's then relying on Howson beating Ted Evetts to have her opportunity.
135.
This is one of those Austin Powers moments, isn't it? When they start talking about time travel. And at the end he just says, oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. We are trying to keep it simple for you guys at home. But some of these situations are so complicated. It's like trying to explain fossils.
60.
It's a very hard thing to explain.
We have two knowns in the group now. Richie Howson is through. Shane McGuirk is out. The other three will sort it out between themselves. This is the last match
81.
for Ross Montgomery. It's not the last match for McGuirk.
$96.
It's a very odd setup that Shane's got here. With that concave stem and the very long golden point. He has tinkered a bit this week. But whatever he's
44.
using here, it does seem to work a little bit better.
$60.
A 195, possibly in 6
Could-
for a level game.
If Shane McGuirk knows he's out, do you think he could be cheeky here?
85.
Three
Shane,
balls?
you require 150.
No, I'm not seeing it.
I missed it by a mile.
I think the right time to go for 3 bulls is when your opponent is not on a finish.
64.
No matter
What's
what
your
the game's
require?
about.
110.
Oh, he's got previous on this.
74. Shane, you require
May end up
86.
on the ball anyway here, McGuirk. Single 18 twice. Would leave him on that target. Just 1 ball.
47. What's your require? 36.
Not a great deal of bullseye finishes this week. That tells you that maybe we're going to get a bullseye finish to finish the week.
Yeah,
But
that's
double
games to the
18
forward leg.
levels
What's
things up
Montgomery?
here. It was very buoyant for Shane. But now things are a little flatter.
5th leg, it's Shane to throw first. Game on.
The absolute worst that Montgomery can do now
60.
is 6 points and -1.
Yeah, he came into the match knowing a win would put him through defeat, and he's then hoping that Fallon Sherrock doesn't win, because the leg
82.
difference will be irrelevant at that point, won't it? She'll have more points with a victory. Of course, it does mean if Shane McGuirk
60.
wins this game, that Ted Evetts is through.
So what you're saying is Shane's got more than one fan in the practice room.
He could actually sort everything out tonight after already being out himself.
Weird
59.
format sometimes.
He could beat Ross Montgomery to put Ted Evetts through and leave Ross perilously placed, but then beat Fallon Sherrock to put Ross through.
So he's got more input into who
39.
goes through than anybody.
Yeah, than the players that are trying to get through themselves, because he's got 2 matches out of the last 3.
Well, Ross is doing his job,
60.
and Shane's slowed down. Not as many trebles as the start of this match. That's why Montgomery's won the last couple of legs. He's going to stay up there for good reason.
60.
Might have to be the 18s at some point here for Shane. He starts there.
58.
That's a bit
What's your
ragged.
require? 140.
That is that perfect first start again. But this time unable to follow.
Oh, not again! That's the second time tonight.
No real reaction from Ross. Styling it out.
That could have been so much worse.
140. What's your require?
Well,
40.
the old no-looker from Arrow.
And he'll feel he's had no luck in this group.
Yeah,
This
that's
match,
games to the 5th
an
leg.
example of it.
Ross Montgomery.
Because McGuirk was bossing it.
6th
But
leg
now the boss is
Ross
in
to throw
charge, and
first.
Ross needs
Game on.
this leg to book his place at finals night.
In the previous series, Scotland had a really good time of it with Champions Week representation, but
60.
weekly winners as well. There were 3 consecutive winners from Scotland from the Champions Week to the next 2 qualifiers for the next series. McEwen,
97.
Borland and Bolton. It just so happened that Borland couldn't go to Champions Week because he got himself a tour card. Could be another good week for Scotland. It's been a really good series for Ireland.
140.
Overall standard tonight from Ross has been excellent. Very similar to yesterday.
100.
A ton plus average, an 85 and a 91. So similar to last night that you can almost predict what he's going to do day on day. He's going to have one really good performance and the other 3 are going to be very acceptable. You do get the feeling that Shane's going to pay the price for leaving 169, though.
Montgomery closing in. He could actually take the 9 off here. Boo.
25.
He doesn't want to get a post saying Shane got a 9.
101 for Ross Montgomery to qualify. Not going. Is there another twist in this tale?
69. Shane,
this will be some shot with Ross on a qualification dart.
Looks a little puzzled. Remember last time he was here, Shane McGurk, he
32.
won Group 8 with 28 points, lost only 1 match out of 15. This hasn't been his group.
Game shot.
But it is a group from which Ross Montgomery qualifies through to finals night. The Scot sneaks through with that double 16. His fortunes changed this evening. That 4-2 win, his 3rd of the night. A complete reversal of his fortunes last night. And that is enough for Montgomery to secure a Saturday spot. Ted Evetts is looking to do the same. But if he is to get it in the next match, he will have to defeat the league leader and unbeaten tonight, Richie Howson.
What a topsy-turvy time in Group B. That young man is smiling for now, but he's still got a bit of work to do. We'll get into the intricacies of that in a second, but the owl is smiling from ear to ear. He has won this group with a game to spare, and he could still walk away with 7 wins from 8 in what is a stacked group of talent. His finishing over the last couple of days has been outrageously good. He doesn't have the darts in this penultimate match of Group B here in Week 10 of Series 7. But sometimes, the way he finishes, he doesn't even need them.
Yeah, Richie Howson through as the group winner. Ross Montgomery has just joined him after that 4-2 win against Shane McGuirk. Ted Evetts
First leg is Ted to
can
throw first.
qualify
Game
alongside them here. He needs 3 legs to qualify. A win and he'd be through on points. And if he loses 4-3, then Fallon Sherrock can't catch him, even with a 4-0 win.
45.
I wonder if Ted knows that. They do have a monitor in the practice room. We do have a players' marshal as well who can relay this information to them if they ask for it. Well, some people don't want to know.
Yeah, the easiest way to say it is 3 legs to go through for Ted Evetts. Richie Howson's dominance
96.
of what you rightly called a stat group is remarkable. If he wins this match, and Fallon Sherrock does go on to beat Shane McGuirk in the last one, Richie Howson, in a group where you can only get a maximum of 16 points, would finish
60.
the group 12 points in front of the favourite to win the group.
I wasn't sure what kind of mic drop you were going to do there, but
140.
that sounded so ridiculous.
It would only be 4 points worse off than Dan Asprey
55.
managed in Group A. This is an 8-game group. That was a 15-game group. You'd only have 4 points fewer.
You got anything else you want to drop?
59.
Just when you think you've seen it all, it's one of those weeks that proves that they are like fingerprints. Everything's different every single week, and I'm sure next week will not disappoint either.
Yeah, we said we'll keep seeing first, don't we, here at the Super Series? The amount of darts, the amount of weeks we've had to still get new things. But they keep coming. The 180 is certainly nothing new from Richie Howson.
87.
Yeah, 16 points
Richie
is the
Maguire,
most you can
106.
win this group with. 16 points is the least you can win Group A with. Every leg is going to hurt Fallon
98.
Sherrock here. She's
Richie
going to be
Maguire,
watching
74.
this with intensity in the practice room.
How's your double 16, Ted?
Yeah, that's
Spot
closer
on.
than the first leg. Ted Evetts.
Exactly what he needed.
Second leg is Richie to throw
4
first.
from 13 in his first game tonight. 4 from 9 after that. And only got 2 shots at a double against Montgomery, who was outstanding against him.
140.
Maybe having the darts is a big advantage in this game after all. That's one of the reasons why Ted got a shot at that 74 and Richie didn't get 1 shot at a double at all.
57.
And the standard from both of these players has been excellent this evening. In terms of quality, it's been a fantastic night.
140.
No sign of that slowing down as the night wears on. It can happen sometimes as we go past the midnight hour. Players will get natural fatigue that anyone would in the earlier hours of the morning.
96.
And the level can drop, but no evidence of it tonight.
These players are so well tuned into the late night darts in Group B because they've done it before. I wouldn't be surprised if they get up
45.
early on a Friday or a Thursday morning and then program a little bit of extra sleep later in the day to make sure that they've got those circadian rhythms right. It's one of the worst sports in the world to play with jet lag or some sort of
180.
lack of sleep or lack of awareness. My word, he's just playing
136.
so beautifully at the minute. Playing Richie Howson at the minute is like playing level 8 out of 10. He's not averaging 105 to 110 all the time,
58.
but he's not
Richie
making any
requires
silly
40.
errors. He's not missing big numbers. He's not missing much at all.
Yeah, that's game shot in the second
Doesn't
leg.
miss that.
Richie Howson.
For a 13 dart leg.
Third leg is Ted to throw first. Game on.
Before that dart, he was 54% exactly for the week on his finishing. So he's just gone up a little notch further.
57.
All Evetts needs to do is hold 3 times, but an opener like that will start to make him worry.
100.
I wonder if fatigue would come into this for Ted, because this is his 5th day of the week. It's only Richie's 2nd.
I'll tell you what I admire about Richie Howson's throw. Someone's just mentioned it in the YouTube
58.
chat. He's not the fastest thrower in the world, but he does have rhythm, doesn't he?
He does have rhythm. So he hangs it down there, a bit like Nigel Hayden used to. Maybe not as
83.
pronounced, but everything's the same time. When he gets that dart in the grip, he has this little fiddle with the barrel just to get it into the right point in the fingertips. And he prods
97.
downwards a couple of times, then it's up, then through. So it's down, up and through. It's very much a feel throw. I've played Richie on tour over a decade ago.
140.
It hasn't changed much.
Great mention of Nigel Hayden there, the Undertaker. Took his darts onto the stage in a coffin case when he played Adrian Lewis at the World Championship, and he almost knocked out the defending champion.
171.
From the same county as Ted Evetts, Warwickshire.
It's one of the great fables in darts, isn't it, that that game was suddenly turned on its head when
94.
Adrian
Judge
Lewis
require
was stung by a
118.
wasp.
One of the Ali Pali wasps. There have been quite a few.
Well, can Ted Evetts show his sting here?
78.
Over the top.
Richie, you require 84.
What can Richie do with the crumbs? Can he recover? Not this time.
23.
That was very careless, the last dart.
Judge, you require 40.
We didn't know what he was thinking there, throwing at treble 20.
Yeah, that's game
He
shot in
wasn't
the third
thinking.
leg.
It's probably the
Ted
answer because the
Evetts.
frustration took over. And the only
leg is Richie
really
to throw
frustrated
first.
player
Game
is
on.
going to be Fallon Sherrock now, because her fate now lies in Howson's hands. She needs him to win every remaining leg in this match, or she won't be at finals night. Ted Evetts will.
41.
I'm sure there weren't many people who were thinking that Fallon wasn't going to qualify overnight. But when you consider what happened in Group A, she was in a great position after a couple of days.
140.
And then she didn't win the group. And it's not as if her standards have dropped that much.
140.
If anything, tonight has been pretty much a carbon copy of yesterday.
$58.
The lowest average of the entire night yesterday was 82.21. Tonight, 82.85. We haven't had that 111
140.
standard like we got from Evetts in Game 9 last night. But we have had a ton plus average from Montgomery and a lot of high 90s stuff. And let's not forget, Sherrock lost against Howson with a
93.
99.24. This might not be done yet.
140.
Perfect setup to tee up tops.
Three darts in hand. A double top. Or 40 points.
90. Richie, you require
Is it a question
40.
of if? Or which dart will it be?
That's game short in the fourth leg.
Well, it was the
Richie
first, of
Hudson.
course it was. It's 2-2. So this
Fifth leg
leg
is set to throw first.
could prove to be
Game on.
decisive, because if Evetts wins it, he's through. Fan and Sherrock can't qualify, but if Howson breaks, he will then throw to beat Evetts 4-2, and Sherrock would still have a chance.
140.
Even in that instance, Fan and Sherrock would have to win 4-1 or 4-0 against Shane McGuirk. But, as you said, he'll be feeling as flat as a pancake at the moment.
Yes, he will.
60.
In fact, they both might going into that last match because they both have not won a game this evening.
$134.
But before a dart was thrown, who would have thought that neither of those players would go through from this group?
Crazy.
124.
That's why I like Group B every single week. For me, it's the perfect group. A nice mix of round-robin darts and a little bit of jeopardy.
I can't help but wonder what tickled Ted there as he approached the hockey. He had one of those moments where he
84.
couldn't help bursting into a little bit of laughter. Didn't spot anything.
He's one of those guys, he's tickled by a lot of things. Watch out, 136 coming in.
140.
Not quite, but this was hit yesterday by Ross Montgomery.
Yeah, and him not getting that 180 will be a huge relief to Ted Evetts because that just gets rid of any pressure on this shot.
51.
Put some pressure on himself there.
You know that Howson's going to get under 100. Or will he? Well, I don't know how he got that in.
100. That you require.
I've been around this sport for
92.
years. I just don't understand it.
What does Ted do here? Bull or treble 20? Safety first, but how much of that bullseye can he see? How much can Richie Howson see?
67.
That was a great
Richie,
moment.
you require
Just leaning
76.
over as if to say, what are you going to do, Ted? What are you going to do, Richie?
Well, we know what he usually does in this position,
56.
and that's not it.
That you require 20.
So this finish to secure Super Ted's spot in finals night and finish Fannon's chances. That was precariously close to the treble. But that's in the double. And Ted Evetts completes the finals night lineup for this week.
Six-leggers Richie.
He goes through
first.
alongside Richie Howson, along with Ross Montgomery, to join Dan Asprey, Darius Labanauskas, and Justin Hood. They are the Super Series
41.
Super Six for Saturday.
I think Ted believes that he's got to win this game, you know. I know there's a great deal of calculating that goes on in the practice room, but that
100.
little bit of focus at the end of leg 5 told me that Ted is very focused on winning this game. He doesn't want to just get a certain amount of legs. I think he believes he's got to win this match.
140.
People will be surprised that this will be his first Saturday night.
80.
And that dream of joining Bradley Brooks in Champions Week is still alive.
There are some dangerous players going through from this group. In fact, I'm going to say I think the winner comes from this group. For the fourth straight week,
100.
the Group B player would win the Saturday showpiece.
I'm going to go along with that because of the standard we've seen in this
58.
group over the last couple of days. I think these players have looked a lot more confident, assured, and the numbers back it up as well.
180.
Well, the numbers that Richie Howson has been producing tonight have been quite spectacular. He's not known for the spectacular, is he, Richie Howson? But maybe it's time to put some respect on the name.
40.
Because what can't speak can't lie, and Howson is once again producing staggering statistics.
That's game short in the sixth.
Deadly doubling.
Richie Howson.
60% again in this game.
Seventh and final leg. It's
Darts is a game,
first.
as you will
Keep
well
on.
know, Paul, where you miss more than you hit. But in terms of finishing over the last 2 nights, Howson's hitting more than he's missing.
Absolutely. And there's one thing I want to say as well.
57.
His high finish in this match is 40. That's telling me that his approach work has been so good. Because he's not missing doubles.
100.
His scoring's got to be pinpoint. And then when he gets there, he cleans up immediately. His score pack again. 7-ton pluses. 8 140 pluses. What is he up to?
Yeah, it's been
42.
such a strong showing over a couple of nights. If Howson takes this into Saturday, he is the man to beat.
Did you say 15 or 16 in the previous where he got ton plus scores?
100.
It's the same sort of range. He's not missing left and right. He's constantly getting at least one treble a visit.
And he's turned a lot of those tons into 140s in this match. I'm going to say it now, by the way. If Ted Evetts does lose
46.
this leg, and indeed this match, he is still through. He might not know it, but he is still through. Fallon Sherrock wins 4-0 against Shane McGuirk. Her and Ted Evetts would be tied on every metric.
100.
And it would go down to the head-to-head. They've won 1 apiece. Ted would go through based on the only battle between these two players that hasn't gone 4-3.
I'm trying to read Ted here. I'm not looking at someone who's relaxed. He looks like someone who feels he's got more
96.
work to do.
Yeah, exactly. You said it in the last leg, and I agree. Don't think he knows he's through. And you can understand why, because that scenario that I just posed is a complicated one, but how
41.
ironic would it be? All the matches were 4-3. The one that he won 4-2 earlier tonight would be the difference in that case.
Sometimes it does come down to something as small as one leg of darts.
And let's not forget, actually, it's head-to-head in this
140,
group.
which you
Had it been
require
head-to-head for the week,
160.
Fallon Sherrock would have got the place.
Yes. But them's the rules.
Well, if he rules this match, he will know he's through, and we will see a change of demeanour
100.
from Ted Evetts. A
Judge
120
require
finish to get that
120.
victory.
But he will probably think he has to hit this. And he might just do it anyway.
100. Richie, you require 60.
Richie Howson has not looked like missing these opportunities. So good at doubles, he's going for 2 now.
Game shot.
Well, Ted
and a
Evetts
match.
is shaking his
Richie
head.
Howson.
He thinks that there is still work to do. He thinks that he needs a favour from Shane McGuirk. I'm certain of that. But you are safe, Ted. You are through. Fallon cannot overturn the deficit. Got the 3 legs he required. Richie Howson, well, let's just have a little mention for him, because that completes a perfect night for the Owl. A fantastic campaign, amassing 14 out of a possible 16 points. Dominant stuff from Howson in the group, who goes through with Evetts and Montgomery. Fallon Sherrock was so close to having a chance, but she and Shane McGuirk, who play the final match, are already out. So one more game to go in the group phases of Week 10 of Modus Super Series 7, but it features two players that will not be on the stage at finals night. Shane McGuirk, Arrow, was the favourite to win this group before a dart was thrown. He's only won one match. Can he win another against Fallon Sherrock, who's also lost all of her matches this evening, having been in such a strong position, having won 3 from 4 yesterday. But her week has tailed off dramatically, and it's Ted Evetts, Ross Montgomery, and the imperious Richie Howson who have made it through from Group
First leg,
B.
it's Fallon to throw first. Game on.
Well, we'll enjoy this game. Two players who are now free from any kind of pressure, and sometimes that does
100.
result in the best standard. But to be honest, Paul, the standard in this group has been through the roof throughout, particularly from one player.
Yeah, it genuinely has. Just done the numbers for
85.
Richie Howson for tonight. They make for a very impressive reading. 95.11 for the night,
100.
average-wise. 16 from 27 on the doubles. For the group, he's mid-93s and 54% for the group.
100.
If that had been someone like Littler last year, we would have said, what a campaign this is. Let us please
100.
praise Richie Howson on how well he's played over the last couple of days. He's only lost one game, and he lost it to Shane.
100.
That's the only 2 points he's got.
And we are going to hear from Richie Howson after this match, so do stick with us.
140.
Stick around, hear from Howson, and get an insight into what has sparked this continued
59.
campaign of
Fallon
class.
requires 61. Yeah, that's game shot on the
Fantastic from
first
Fallon
leg.
in the
Fallon
opening
shot.
leg. Class from her. Remember, a 4-0 win here would
Second
put her
leg,
on
it's Shane to throw
the same
first.
points,
Game on.
the same leg difference, the same legs won as Ted Evetts. But because he won 4-2
83.
tonight, and every other match this week between them has been 4-3, in this group, he would have a better legs difference in their head-to-head, one win
140.
apiece, but favourable to him, which is why he would go through in that instance.
It's weird how it works sometimes.
140.
And remember, if Fallon does win this game, she would finish on 8 points. And very, very often, 8
85.
points is good enough to get through, but it might not be tonight.
140.
There's a lovely fast pace about this game.
Players pretty much know the simple equations, don't they? But the more difficult ones,
140.
it's hard to work
Shane
out, which is
requires
probably why Ted
138.
wasn't sure
Yeah.
if he was through or not when he got to 3 legs in the previous match. But I think there's part of most people watching that hope Shane McGuirk does get a leg, because if Fallon leaves the stage
98.
to realise
Fallon, you
how
require
close it really was,
136.
well, she'll be sick, won't she?
Just a little bit.
58.
She knows a thing or two
Shane, you
about
require 40.
denying people by fine margins.
Yeah, that's game shot in the second leg.
Do I
Shane
even
McGuirk.
need to bring up the Lee Budgeon thing from last year?
Yeah, well, that scenario's off now. She's not
Third
going to
leg,
win
it's Fallon
4-0.
to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, that was the group that we referenced earlier tonight, where every player could have finished on the same points. One match away from doing it, but Fallon Sherrock won that
55.
group by winning against Lee Budgeon, who ended up finishing bottom when, had he won that match against Sherrock, he would have finished top.
Do you know who Fallon has shared a Group B
100.
with in the past? And it was a rather eventful Group B last year. A certain John Henderson. And
137.
it's now May the 4th. And let me be one of the first people to congratulate John on his 51st birthday. Happy birthday, Hendo.
95.
So the Highlander will be back here in the next series. Now, of course, the World Seniors Champion.
133.
Up for the 60 now.
136.
Good standard here. Did I say good? I meant to say great.
It's been great all night. The level has been
58.
of the
Shane
highest
Unicor,
order.
170.
If this is the level we're going to see on Saturday night, people who attend are going to be in for a treat. And you guys at home tuning in will love everything you see.
94. Funny Unicor, 118.
Wants a shot at double 19. Gets it.
80.
But can't
Shane
close it.
Unicor, 76. That's game shot in the third leg. Shane McGuirk.
It carries on. We said we might get an inflated standard because of the relaxation that the players are able to experience now, and we're getting one. Both players averaging in 3 figures.
This group has been so good. Can we just start from scratch and see what if it happens again?
100.
Some people might think it's quite harsh the way that Fallon's played, that she's not going to go through, but
93.
averages don't get you through. It's wins. There are going to be Saturday nights and groups that you see people
57.
way below Fallon's numbers who qualify and possibly lift a trophy on a Saturday night. You have to win the situations, don't you? And this situation the last couple of days has been
80.
a very difficult one. Whereas yesterday she was winning the key battles towards the end of matches, she has missed a couple of key opportunities here tonight.
100.
But how well did she play against Richie Howson when she did miss those key opportunities? Had she won that match, she'd have gone into this game knowing a win would get her through.
58.
And that was an incredible performance from both players.
But that's the kind of game. Oh, is this in?
100.
Marco Meyer, the referee, had to look up close and personal at that maximum from Fallon Sherrock.
Give that man a microscope. Oh, give Shane double 5. What a leg of darts.
This is a laughable game. And Fallon Sherrock has got a beaming smile on her face.
Fifth like it's Fallon the throw first. Game on.
You can't help but laugh. We're laughing. She's laughing. He's laughing.
These are two of the nicest people that grace this place.
100.
Two people with the best sense of humour as well. Shane is, as they say in Ireland, is great crack.
140.
Is there part of him that's thinking, where's this been?
Well, it's difficult when there's pressure involved, but when the pressure's taken away,
40.
the game does become a little easier. The trick is you've got to find a way to play it like that most of the time, and it's hard.
100.
How many times have you heard from a really good player, I'm practicing brilliantly, but when I get up there, it's like I've never thrown a dart before.
Oh, look at those. The grouping.
80.
Oh, come on.
100.
Either he's going to hit that 161 or Fallon's going to leave something handy and take it out. That's how this game has gone on.
41. Shane Unicor,
Over to you, Shane.
161.
Well, this game deserves to be won in sensational style because it's been a sensational spectacle.
64. Funny Unicor, 140.
Will it go on or will McGuirk mop up the 97?
92. Shane Unicor, 97.
Does he have a mop? Double 19 tops. Missed that by a mile.
$72. Funny Unicor, 48.
Just about everything went wrong there. But that went
That's
right
game
for
short
Fallon
on the fifth
Sherrock.
flag. Fallon Sherrock.
And the game goes on.
I think these two are enjoying this game. I know I am.
6 flag, it's Shane to throw first. Game on.
Shane, an exponent of the old underlayer, which is something that I think in this sport is underused.
95.
Look at the doubling.
By the way, saw an instance
100.
towards the end of that leg. It's something that we've seen loads this week, a player going for the 25 and hitting the bull. On a week, we've rarely seen a bullseye hit to win legs.
Yeah, lots of the big finishes
59.
are to do with double 18s, tops. We have seen a 161 and a 167, but an awful lot of the big ones have been in that
20.
130 to 150 range.
Well, that should have been a third 180 for Fallon Sherrock. One of the darts brutally rejected and ejected from the treble.
Well, she has had more rejections this week than anybody. These darts have got some age, and I think these points have been
100.
changed a few times as to why she's been getting darts rejected. It would take a little bit of investigation.
57.
Well, Shane McGuirk's left 150. Is this the right time and the right place?
Yeah, I think it is.
100.
Come on, Shane.
Require 150.
Show us what you got.
Say the line, Paul. Say the line.
Do it. Oh, didn't even give me a chance to say the second line, and Fallon seeing the side of it as well.
Good fun in the curtain closer of Group B.
75.
Neither player can go through, but they are going to put on a show
81.
regardless.
Go on.
Full credit to the pair of them.
Come on, Fallon. Show them how it's done. 2 double 9s. Okay, just one of them.
72. Shane, you require
25 bull.
75.
Oh, really? Really? Now, how are we going to get 25? Come on, get inventive. Get inventive. 25. Oh, he's conventional.
Oh, there
Game
we go.
shot
That's it.
and a
Game
match.
won by Shane McGuirk. What a treat of a final match. 2 players out. They've put on some show there. That was fantastic. Shane McGuirk finally gets a win tonight. And look at the standard. These are the 2 players that are out. These are the 2 players that won't be at finals night. And look at that. Despite all those attempts at the bullseye, 4 out of 4 on the finishing from Shane McGuirk, including the 130 checkout. Fallon loses with a 99 average. Both players are out. Ross Montgomery, Ted Evetts and Richie Howson are through. And we're going to hear from Richie Howson at the other side of this. Well, that brings an end to a fantastic Group B campaign. Delighted to say the winner of the group, Richie Howson, has joined us. Richie, congratulations. Look, it's been a fantastic group, a really high standard, but you've been the standard setter. Just talk us through your last couple of nights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really pleased, Chris. When they brought the lineup up for the week, and I looked at the 2 guys in my Group B, which was Ross and Shane, I thought, "Blimey, that's going to be a tough group." And I looked at A, and I thought, whoever gets second and third out of there, this is going to be one tough Group B. And with Fallon and Ted coming through, I mean, to get that amount of wins, it was just, I just never thought I was going to be able to do that.
What pleased you the most? And I know this is a bit of a silly question for everybody watching because we know what we've seen, but what pleased you the most about your play the last couple of days?
I just think I've been really consistent, to be honest. My finishing's been really, really good, which I'm really pleased with. And I've not worried too much how people have scored against me. I've just sort of kept plodding away and take my finishes out when I've needed to, and it's paid off. So.
I know you're not the kind of guy who tends to, look at the stats too much. You like to feel your way through a campaign, but would you like to know what your percentage was on doubles over the last couple of days?
Yeah, obviously, yeah, definitely.
54% for 2 days here against that calibre of players is outrageously good, and we've got to say well done.
Thank you. I think, to be honest, that's probably the reason why I won the group, because you have to do something like that against these guys. They're just unbelievable. Some of the darts I've had thrown at me the last few days, it's just been phenomenal. It really has. Frightened me, to be honest with you. and I mean, practising in that run with people like Ted and Shane, they're scary when you're watching them. And it just doesn't miss a treble 20. And you come out here and you're thinking, how am I going to win this? But you just got to plod on and trust yourself. So.
Yeah, well, you've come out on top. Let's just look at the story of tonight in terms of the results. And your name, as you can see there, has turned gold on every possible occasion. Is there a standout match from tonight that you enjoyed the most?
I probably enjoyed the last one against Ted, because I knew, again, it was going to be a good game. And it went down to the last leg again. And I didn't feel like a 99 average, to be honest with you. But it's just a good game. And you just never know what Ted's going to take out. So you just got to hang on there and hope you get a chance. And I did.
What was the practice room dynamic like? Because there were lots of different permutations for Ross, for Fallon, for Ted, and even for Shane towards his last couple of matches. Was there a lot of nervous energy in there?
I try to just keep on the practice board and not get involved too much. I don't try and look at anything. I just play my own game. But there must have been. I mean, I know Shane was a little bit down on himself. I mean, to only win what he's won and how good he is, it's remarkable, really. It just shows you the strength of the group. And he was a little bit down on himself. Fallon was so unlucky against me on that last. She played unbelievable against me and missed that double, and I took it out. And otherwise, she might have had a chance of going through if she'd have beat me on that double 8. So, yeah, it's been a good 2 days in there with the guys. Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing that moment there where Fallon Sherrock missed that opportunity. But what you were doing, I mean, you weren't missing, were you? Paul mentioned the stats earlier on. I can't recall a time all night, and very rarely last night, where you went to the board with 2 or 3 darts at double and didn't win the leg.
Yeah, I've been playing okay, to be honest, Chris, and I'm always confident on me finishing. That's what I've classed as my strong point. I'm not a massive scorer all the time like some of these guys, but give me 3 darts and I really fancy myself to finish the legs.
I don't believe a word he's saying, considering some of the scoring packs we've seen from him tonight. Your penultimate game, was it 16 ton plus scores? Yeah. And that's not even counting your ton 40s. Yeah, and then in the next game after that, the ton 40s turned up, as well as the tons. Some of those, I mean, you used the word consistent. The consistency in the scoring was outrageously good.
Did I just hear you say lucky then?
Just a lucky pub player. I'm having a good run.
But look, it's the first time back here since you won your TV title. Yeah. You're champion of champions in the World Seniors. Has that given you an extra element of confidence?
I think it gives you a bit of confidence. I mean, to win something on the television is fantastic, and it just seemed. Everyone kept saying, "Oh, you're going to win one soon. You're going to win one soon," but until you actually do it, I mean, you could be in a final every time, or you might not even get to any more finals. So it was great to cross that line. It's given me a lot of confidence. But to be honest with you, the couple of weeks since then, I've sort of struggled in like Super League and County. I think it's just a bit of a come down, and you need to come to somewhere like this with the quality of players to get you going back up again, because if you don't perform, you're going to get bashed up. So
he needs a stage, doesn't he? He's a star now, isn't he?
Very much so. I mean, Richie and I shared PDC Jockeys years ago, and I think what Richie's doing at the minute is incredibly motivational to a lot of age groups, because when we were coming through, it was all about the people who had, maybe been good at Super League, County, playing internationally maybe, and then people who had a couple of quid spare, they might play PDC at the weekend. The scope has changed, but it doesn't matter what age you are. You got Ross Montgomery at 61, and you got this guy over 50. They're showing that there's life in the more seasoned owls and dogs yet. It's fabulous to watch, and put them up against the young bucks like Ted Evetts and some others, they can live with them.
Well, let's show you the Super 6 in the Saturday session tomorrow. This is the group breakdown for this week. Dan Asprey, the ADC qualifier, surprise winner of Group A. Richie Howson, Ross Montgomery, Ted Evetts coming through tonight, as you've seen. And this afternoon, Darius Labanauskas sneaking through with Justin Hood. Now, next up is how they are going to be placed tomorrow night. So, Richie, a first look for you. Group 2, Justin Hood, Ted Evetts. How do you feel about that? You haven't seen it on camera yet, but a little roll of the eyes from Richie Howson. It doesn't get any easier, does it?
No, in fact, it gets harder. No, look, it's great. I mean, whoever you play out of those other 5 guys is going to be tough, and you just got to go there, try and do your best. I got to the final last time I was here, got beat by Andreas, so it'd be lovely to go one better and try and get into Champions Week, but we'll see.
I tell you who's looking at that thinking, this is going to be some experience. That's Dan Asprey. Great story, him winning Group A, but look at all of the experience that's going to be staring at him in the practice room. That is going to be fascinating to see.
We've had some fantastic finals nights recently as well, and we're going to have another decent crowd here. It's really taking off at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. If Richie brings a few people down, we've got people coming from Telford for Dan. We've got people coming for Justin Hood as well. Maybe a lot of local people. I think tomorrow could be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it.
And I'm sure you'll be looking forward to it. Got a few coming along?
Yeah, I've got a couple coming along, yeah. So, yeah, well, as I say, I haven't really spoke to anyone since I've gone through, so I'm hoping they're all coming along. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it again.
Wouldn't normally ask you this question with a player sat next to you about who's going to win tomorrow, but I'm going to put it this way. If he maintains that standard, then surely he's the man to beat.
Absolutely. I think the cutthroat nature of Saturday night is such that you need to be killer on the doubles. If his doubles continue, then people have got serious problems. And it might be someone like Evetts or possibly Montgomery who's going to need to find that extra level that we have seen from them the last couple of nights in order to take him out.
Richie, congratulations. Well done. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow as well, Paul. And we hope to see you as well here at the Modus Super Series. If you can't be here in Portsmouth, then do tune in on the YouTube channel from 7:30, where our 6 stars are going to have their war. May the 4th be with you.